9 minutes late. 10 minutes late. Oh my gosh. What is going on here? What is up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, of which I need to do some big updating and all that. Man, sorry I'm running a little bit late today. Weird. I don't know. Took a shower, got home, took a shower, laid down in bed for a minute, fell asleep. And then I woke up. I'm like, crap, I'm late. I'm late. I got to make a show. I was woke up in time, but then I got the computer and everything going, and it didn't want to have my camera like the one that's pointing down. Like it only was showing the one that's like pointing at me with like from the laptop, the laptop camera. So weird stuff. So, it's not weird. Like I've kind of seen that happen before, but yeah, I don't know. It hasn't really happened much lately. So, anyways, what's up, Seven? I almost called you Abba. What's up, Seven? I get why you wouldn't want to be called that. I wouldn't want to be called Abba either, to be honest. Um, what's up, Sakura-san? How you doing? And yeah, so hopefully you guys are having a great day. Boy, usually I come into these things and I have a ton of stuff going on. And this time I don't have a ton of stuff, but I always have a ton of stuff. All I gotta do is look to my right and there's a big bookshelf full of stuff that I can show off. And suddenly, I have a ton of stuff. So I have lots of comics. We got like lots of mini comics and stuff. We're gonna do some sketching and stuff too. Um, you know, maybe we'll draw some more man cards. Maybe we'll just do some sketchbook stuff. I don't know. We shall see. I have so many mini comics, you guys. Like, if I sat here and showed you all of them, it would be fun. But it would probably take a while. So maybe I'll just show a few. A nice little handful. Because why not? Mini comics are inspiring, I think. So here's a nice little stack. Have you guys ever seen Shonen Jump, like a real deal Shonen, Japanese Shonen Jump? If not, guess what? I got one here that I've had for a little while, and I think it's time to show it off because I think it's really cool. What is up, Sideburns, also known as Dan? How you doing? Glad to see you here. Nathan, what is up? We'll be chatting about some things too concerning Nathan, concerning everybody. Let's see. Dee Dee's here. What's up, Dee Dee? How you doing? We got some Dee Dee Happy Mail as well. Just a little something. I don't have no clue what it is. So we'll be checking that out. Oops. People are saying hi to each other. So yeah. So let's start with that. We'll start with that. I got my cord hanging down. I gotta find a better situation for that cord. Uh-oh. Stuff's falling all over the place. All right. So yeah, starting off this new thing where I'm doing a show at 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm starting it off late. Isn't that awesome? Oh boy. Well, It is what it is. Sometimes things happen. So, I don't know what's in this package. I have yet to open it up. And the thing is I also should be getting some other stuff in the mail that I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about because I think it should be here by now. Because I'm pretty sure it was sent before Dee Dee sent this, but I don't know exactly. I was surprised she even said that she's gonna send something because she just sent me something, and she's gonna send me something else too. So it's just like, oh my goodness, Dee Dee, you are a giver, and I appreciate that. That's nice, and I cannot wait to. I'm putting together some stuff for you, so I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully this is appropriate. I would assume so, because by now you would have said, wait, don't show it. It's not appropriate. So this is, oh, and Dee Dee also sent comics out today. Yeah, so thank you, Dee Dee. Well, I think there'll be probably some multiple things coming your way too at some point. So definitely at least one thing for now. So here we go. Oh, junk. Oh, cool. So this is like, oh, are these these are those cards that you made. I forget what you called them, but they were really cool. Like they're like little mixed media cards type of thing. And it's got it has the DD hallmarks with the time and everything. So here, let me take these like one at a time so I can really get a good look at what's going on. Thanks for watching. Everybody, thanks for watching, I should say. Everybody should check out Dee Dee's channel. I don't know, like I have nothing but fun hanging out on Dee Dee's channel all the time. She's got another show um, tomorrow, Mondays and Wednesdays. It's so weird because tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow's Hump Day, and it feels like the week just began in America, right? Like Labor Day. So today was the first day, of the week technically, but um, I really usually would like to have shared the show, but I'm just gonna let it roll today because it's kind of a funky way I started anyway. So let's see. Dee Dee's YouTube. All right. So check out Dee Dee's YouTube, subscribe. I have nothing but fun hanging out at her YouTube. And so, yeah. So here we go. Are these like, these are prints, I think, of these cards? They must be, yeah. So you make prints of the cards? Do you make these with your printer? So these are like part of your collages. Like I've seen you make like oh, what's that book? There's a book with like all kinds of like pictures, and then you said you do like the reverse mixed media sometimes, or sometimes you do like the regular mixed media, and you just like leave parts out and everything. It's really fun stuff. It's so inspiring. Like I feel like you kind of make this kind of stuff like I made those comics. Here, let me see if I can focus in a little bit because it's hard to really see, what's going on here. Let's see. I also technically could bring the camera down, but I'm going to be showing other small things. So let me take the autofocus off, and we'll just do one of these for now. Get that focus going. All right, there we go. So Yeah, it's like, let's see what DD said. Oh yeah, the Abandoned Places books. Yes, I watched some of those videos as well, and yes, they are prints. So cool. That's interesting. So you could like reuse them over and over if you wanted to. It's like, which I've done stuff like that, like sampling. Adam Moore talked about, some of these processes being like sampling, like in hip hop music, which it is in a lot of ways. What's up, CB? How you doing? Yes, Didi has a great channel. Absolutely. Nathan says, let's see. Oh, you printed them at Office Depot. Okay. I've done a lot of printing. Actually, my mini comics and stuff, I usually print at like Staples or Office Depot or something. Um, let's see. Yeah, the Abandoned Places books, which I saw something. Oh no, I saw in Walmart. I saw one of the books you do use. It's like the Fantastic Worlds or something like that, and that was really cool too. Have I ever made a comic with mountains as the setting? Probably. Well, I mean, not like, no, not like the setting, but there's definitely been mountains like in the backgrounds at times. This almost looks like it's got like, okay, so you must have got some pictures. Oh, it looks like almost um early American or something. Full picture paintings, but it almost made me think of like a biblical scene or something. But it's like a biblical scene if we go by the ancient aliens kind of way of thinking. These are cool. And Dee Dee likes to play with like time a lot. She likes to put time in her mixed media stuff, which is cool. It's cool that you have like a theme. Seems like you, and then you do like the lemur thing too, because you like lemurs. This is really cool. It's got the multiple moons and stuff, it looks like, which is really neat. Like, I'm actually a huge fan of the moon, which is a weird thing to say. But I have like this whole idea, like, and I've tried to make songs, and I have like partially made like hip hop songs about it, but it's like a weird concept that nobody really will care about so much. But you guys might dig it. But it's like this whole idea of like it's like a biblical type of or a faith-based kind of idea, and it's like oh, I already put a lot of tape. I gotta try to get these things off, but well, it's not really that much tape. So it's just like this whole idea of like we like a metaphor, like the sun. Obviously, the sun is the light of the world, and then you got like the Son of God is the light of the world in a spiritual sense. And then the moon reminds me of humanity. Um, like what is the moon? Like, is there any like obviously, we've learned things about gravity and how the moon affects gravity and the waves and the tides and stuff like that. Um, But like when you think about it, the moon is just a big ball of dust as far as we know so far. There's not a lot to it. There may possibly be some water in the caps. There might be like some ice caps that they've thought that's possibly, or maybe they know that. I don't know at this point. But this is really cool. Um, Thank you. If I didn't say, by the way, thank you for sending this, Dee Dee. Stuff is really cool. It's like getting to see like the source of the inspiration. Really neat. And I definitely want to do some stuff like this with kind of like you do like with the reverse collage and using maybe like I don't know if I have like the if I'll get the abandoned places thing. I might. I think I looked them up and I just haven't grabbed them yet, but maybe I'll get one of those books because they do look kind of cool. They're in my list, and I guess in some ways the moon is an abandoned, place, but it's not really. But it'd be cool to think of, it as an abandoned place. But anyways, the whole metaphor thing, like it's like the sun, is the light of the world, and but we also have the light of the world at night in the darkness, and so that's the moon. And the moon again, it's just all it is really kind of dust and dirt and rocks and stuff like that. Like there's not much to it that so far as we know. I mean, I'm sure there's more than I know, but um and so the dusty moon is like humanity. It's like us as humans, and we are meant to reflect the light of the sun in the darkness, in the darkness of the world. So, and there's not really much we can do. It's not like and we're made in the image of God. This is the Christian belief. And it's like there's nothing really that we can do like of our own merit. Like we can't really make people see the truth of God. Like the when it comes down to it, like you can tell somebody till you're blue in the face and prove whatever you can. Even if you could bring undeniable proof, people will not necessarily be interested in God and actually believe in Him. Um, you know, but they may or they may not. But the only, we have to rely on the Holy Spirit to open people's eyes. So again, the moon really it plays a vital part, yet there's not really much that it does. It just reflects the light of the sun. It really has no choice but to reflect the light of the sun. I mean, I think humanity in the world, actually, just in general, Christian or non Christian, we reflect the image of God. We are God's image bearers. And that's what we're meant to be, whether we like it or not, or believe it or not. And again, this isn't like, I'm not trying to get into like big, like faith theology stuff or debates or anything. This is just my own thoughts on the moon and like as a metaphor and everything. And trust me, we're not going to be like all up in theology all night here. But it's just since there was like three moons here, I was like, oh man, I love the moon. Even to the point where like I've like in the group Shadow of the Locust, that I'm part of, a Christian hip hop group, which I don't really do much with anymore anyways. It's not just because I haven't been involved in hip hop at all, really, like in any real meaningful way for a while. So you know but in that group we all there's this symbol, that the guy who created Shadow of the Locust created, and it's called the Locust Trinity, I think, and it's made up of circles. I forget what it was, but anyways, like everybody has designed like their own. Usually they just use that shape, and then they turn it into they kind of put something inside it that represents who they are. So everybody's kind of got that same logo, but their own way. So the way I did it was I, at one point, turned it into the moon. Like I literally used like black, kind of like a stark black and white version of like the moon craters and stuff. And that's kind of, I really love that whole idea of the moon and stuff. So anyways, now Dee Dee's stuff, I think like this one is super cool. Like there's all like this texture and stuff, and hopefully, let's see if I can make sure there's a good zoom in here. Or there we go. That's more focused. Let's see if I zoom in a little. Oh, wow. That's zooming in further than I expected. So that's awesome. Let's make sure that focus is nice and good. All right, cool. And it might not, there's glare and it probably doesn't represent the color super great. But there's just so many little things like, it'd be cool to go back and find, the exact video where created this particular one. But yeah, like there's like, this is, you could see this is like, from like a bird's eye view of like, it kind of looks like some ancient ruins of an old, maybe like Bethlehem or something, or something like that, and it probably is something like that. One thing that's cool is Dee Dee has mentioned at times that one of her big things she wanted to do was become an architect. uh, which that's really interesting. I kind of want to I've talked about this before, like I want to have Dee Dee on to like almost interview her, because I'm really curious about like what her life has been like. I don't know, like I don't know. There's just, it's so cool that she has all these artistic interests, but she has all these other interests, and I don't know. I think she's fascinating. And then there's like, you can see there's like almost some papers with flower illustrations here, and then there's like, we have a lot of kind of like ruins, or just like ancient sites, and like a door and all that. Like there's just like so much cool stuff, and then you got like the timepieces and things connecting, and then this almost looks like an alien ship or something, but it's actually like some old ruins or something. There's paint, and yeah, all this mixed media stuff. It's really neat. It almost looks like Atlantis rising from the ocean. That's like another thing you could think of. What do you guys think of this idea of like art, like art or story or whatever it is? I've heard people say this and talk about this being like a good thing. Where like when you make a piece of art, like they almost criticize if like you have a huge intention, or you're trying to bring across a specific point with your art. A lot of people will say, well, actually I want people to, have their own interpretation, even to the point where, like, I guess David Bowie had this quote. I heard this on one of Peter Simeti's streams today, that Peter Simeti had, or I mean, David Bowie had this quote where it was like, I don't know if it's like all of his lyrics or just some of his lyrics and some of the songs. He's like, I'm not really that connected with the lyrics specifically. Like I wasn't necessarily writing about anything specific. I kind of just, they're almost arbitrary, and I'm happy when people they kind of take their own interpretation and it means something specifically to them. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because I think it's interesting, but and I think when you do like more abstract stuff, which I love doing, totally, like I think you can't really even get away from that aspect of art, and it is a really cool thing when it means something different to each person. But then there's like the idea of like when you write a comic, like you make a whole story, like don't you kind of want them to come to a specific conclusion? And then there's like also this idea of not getting too preachy, and I definitely wouldn't want to do that, because I feel like, and it doesn't even matter. I'm not talking about like biblical Christian preachy, like anything, any kind of propaganda. There is definitely a resistance, in my opinion, for me at least, to that kind of storytelling. um like I like if story is like a discussion more than a preachy thing. But I don't know, at times it's certain stories have opened me up to things I might not have they've at least made me see another side of things that I might not have, considered as much, or I might have, helped to consider it differently. So, anyways, deep thoughts from waking up. Maybe not that deep, but yeah. So thank you, Dee Dee. This stuff is really cool, really inspirational. I love this stuff. I want to make some of these like cards and stuff that you made, and I'm looking forward to doing more mixed media art. You guys can see in some recent videos that I did make some like mixed media comic books and stuff, which are out of reach at the moment. But um, I'm looking forward to getting back to that. I started like making this whole video of like, oh, I'm gonna show the world how to make, abstract, mixed media comics. This is gonna be cool, something new that people haven't, you don't see people do too much, and this and that. And I recorded a lot of it. It probably will never turn into a video. There's too much editing involved. Like, I don't know. And I didn't actually finish the thing because it's like, well, after I was done, I'm like, this is really awesome and cool, but I don't feel like it's a comic yet. It needs to be like illustrated on top of it a little bit to make it into a comic. So it's like, it's weird. Like, if you try to do YouTube videos, like, and you want to do like edited, like, videos and stuff, I don't know, or even art videos, like comic videos, whatever. A lot of times I have like a goal in mind. I start with a goal in mind, and then by the end of it, it's like it was way bigger than I realized, or something, or I don't know how to make a video of it anymore. It's just weird. There's a lot of weird stuff. So it's this YouTube thing can be difficult, but again, I've been like I've said this a few times. I've been kind of copying the way Dee Dee does it, not because I'm trying to copy anybody. It's just because I really resonate with the way Dee Dee has been. Dee Dee does her videos, and I'm like, this is like a fresh way to do my live streams that I really like and think is neat. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and I think it's actually been doing wonders for me. Like, it's something that it's like I needed a fresh way to kind of do things. So I'm really happy. I love the top down format. It doesn't mean there won't be other kind of videos on my channel, but I love that top down format and just being able to share like really cool stuff with you guys. So, anyways, this is a book I was talking about the other day when I was saying, like, use design in your comics. Like, that is like a superpower almost. Like, if you learn design, um, and the different concepts of design, and you utilize them in your comics, you can actually make a huge like impact. Like I said, Todd McFarlane's a great example of this. Like, he even talks about, I have the art of Todd McFarlane over here on the shelf. I'm not gonna get it down at the moment, but like he even talks about in that book, like, that he has a lot of there's a lot of stuff that he's not good at, and so he tries to focus on the stuff he is good at in comics, and then he uses design, and he can kind of get away with the stuff he's not good at by using to more of an advantage the stuff he is good at, which he's gone to school and stuff for design and stuff. So, anyways, this is the Non-Designer's Design Book, second edition. It's an older book, I guess, I don't know, by Robin Williams, not the Robin Williams that we all think it could be, of course. I think it's actually a female. If I'm not, I might be mistaken. I don't know 100% sure. Maybe there's a picture on the back. I mean, you never know. Maybe she doesn't identify as a female, but that looks like a female to me. Um, so, anyways, this when I was in when I took some design classes. I took one design class in college. I I took a few college art classes. One of them was design, And we learned like how to do it like the old school way. This didn't go into any computer programs at all. I was going to take more classes that did that. In fact, I think now that I think about it, I did take some like I think Photoshop classes or something. Um, didn't really love them, but anyways, but I did like this class a lot, and I liked the other art classes I took. Anyways, this was one of the books that she talked about, and it was like required purchasing. I don't know if it's required reading actually, but and it's just kind of shows like the basic principles of design in a much more simple way. Like it makes it way less complicated. And there's not many, you know. Um, there's four in this book, like proximity, alignment. Oh, there's not. It's weird. Like it doesn't look like there's enough light, and I don't know why. But let's fix that a little bit. Do. The focus is good, right? Yeah, the focus is good. So hopefully that's okay, guys. So we got proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. And that's it. That's like the four basic principles. I mean, of course there's a lot to design and not it's not of course that simple necessarily, but it is that simple. It's that simple, but it's not necessarily that easy. That's how a lot of things are. Like if you get into you know, if you get into like a lot of things, like just perspective, like the principles of perspective are actually easy. You could learn them all in a sitting easily. Um, but to put it into practice and illustrations, not always so easy. It takes time it takes practice, all that stuff. So, contrast. And this is the big one. I remember in design class, she was really emphasized contrast. She's like, if you want your stuff to stand out, if you want it to have appeal, use contrast. That's the biggest thing that brings appeal, light and dark, big and small, detailed and non-detailed. Have places for the eye to rest, have places for the eye to look deeply into. There's just a lot of different things. Um, and when you get into illustration, you also get into other things that I would say are also kind of design, which would be like I always can't think like composition techniques, which that isn't really entailed in this book, but I just love how it makes like design a little bit more understandable. So, it's like this is probably I'm assuming that she's saying like this is an example of not good design and this is a good design a you know an example of good design. So it's like this is all the same information that's here, but this is much more appealing and easier to read. And I think about this a lot actually, even at work with just the way we do certain things. Like when I write something that other people are supposed to understand and communicate something, I think about these principles because it makes it so much easier and quicker to read this. And if you use bad design, people will be confused. If you use good design, the communication will be so much better. So I mean, good design right at the top, like what this is about, and then it's organized. So alignment and proximity have to do with like organization. Um, and alignment, it's all aligned to one side. It's in this one, it's all jumbled in the middle. A lot of times things being right in the center isn't usually good design. You could also have it aligned this way and it looks much better even if it's aligned to this side. But when it's straight up and down the middle, it can be used. You can use that, but it's not usually as good. So you got one, two, three. So it's easy. Big header, and then there's three principles. Then you got each. There's a little header for each with a little description. Like this is very good design. It makes it makes this information more approachable and less overwhelming. Like, say this is something complicated. If it's designed like this, you're gonna be like, oh boy, like I gotta read this instructions. You look at this and you're like, oh, okay, okay. Just visually, it already makes sense. Like I know there's like, you know, three, it just looks better. So, anyways, we'll just read this and then we'll get to other cool stuff. But that's not this book. So contrast, the idea behind contrast is to avoid elements on the page that are merely similar. If the elements like type, color, size, and this book doesn't really deal so much with like, it's more like literally, you know, graphic design stuff, It's not so much about illustration, but you can use these in illustration. Um, so, type, color, size, line thickness, shape, space, all this stuff can be ways you can use contrast. So it's making sure elements are not the same, then make them very different. And it's good to drive your contrast. Like if you have some contrast, see if you can push it even more. It's like exaggerating, figures or something. See if you could push it a little bit more. See if you can make it a little bit more dynamic. That's a good thing to do with contrast. Contrast is often the most important visual attraction on a page. It's what makes a reader look at the page in the first place. Repetition is always really helpful. You can create motifs and themes and things like that within your, like you could see in Dee Dee's, pieces. Where did I put them? I put them to the side. You think it would be easy, like you put something to the side and then like, and then you're like, where did I put it? So like, we got this repetition. So again, I was showing you this with the moons, and there's a lot of contrast. We have, round shapes, and then this repeats and this curve repeats. You know what I'm saying? But it's in stark contrast to these shapes that are a little more pointy and up and down, and this is still going up and down, but it's like in a different way. And so you got the contrast with these big round shapes, and then you got this shape, and it's also there's a color contrast and stuff, and it's all this stuff. At some point, us artists, a lot of times we do a lot of this stuff, but we do it intuitively, and we learn intuitively to do some of this stuff. But when you learn it, you can also start to apply it, intentionally as well. So, and then again, you got like the motifs of time within like the her works and stuff. And so you got like, now this is some of this stuff is more composition too, but like right here where this like thing, this points like up this way. And there's a lot of stuff like even these lines are like leading you around the image, and you want to keep looking at all the different things. And there's a randomness to this, but then a human being, aka Didi, actually designed it as well. So like the randomness of mixed media art is inspiring and fun, and then you can bring your human hand into it in really interesting ways and create like that's like a scene in a movie type of thing, like some crazy like sci-fi, like it's you know what I mean. So anyway, so repetition, repeat visual elements of the design throughout the piece. You can repeat colors, shapes, textures, spatial relations, line thickness, font size, graphic concepts. This develops the organization and strengthens the unity. It helps strengthen the unity, and develops the organization. It's good. Organization is a good thing, and again, these are, basic principles. Of course, rules can be broken, but you can't break them if you don't even know them. Alignment. Nothing should be placed on the page arbitrarily. Now, that goes against like the whole randomness thing I was talking about. But again, it might start with arbitrariness, to help guide like the beginnings of decision making, but then you start to be more intentional with it as you put things together. And you'll see if you watch people do like collages, like what Didi did, a lot of times you see them like they'll put a piece down and then they'll like turn it left, or then they'll like flip it around, or they'll place it in different places, and then they'll put another piece in, and they just kind of play with the different like papers they have or whatever. And then it takes time for them to decide exactly where something's going to go, and then they'll paste it down, or Didi uses golden matte medium, which I got to get some at some point. Right now this is what I got, and I'm using that, but I think probably what she uses is better, so I'll probably get some of that at some point. But you play something down and then you just keep working. And there's a very freeing way of working with, mixed media that's really fun. But again, like there is the human hand in it. And when you start doing that, if you have these principles, if you understand some of these principles, it can help you, um, to guide a little bit of your construction of your page. Again, you got to think about principles of composition. We should do like some stuff on that too at some point, because design is part of that, but also composition is kind of its own thing within illustration, I feel like, as well. Like, I think they're two different but similar topics. So alignment, nothing should be placed on the chart page arbitrarily. Every element should have some visual connection with another element on the page. This creates a clean, sophisticated, fresh look. So yeah, and again, a lot of this is more applied to like text and how and also like on a website or something like that. But it can be applied to visual imagery as well. Text is visual imagery as well, but you know what I mean. Proximity. Items relating to each other should be grouped close together. Again, rules are meant to be are made so that they can also be broken sometimes. But like that is something that once you know that, you can learn how to intentionally use that. So it's like with this, there's one, two, three. This whole section is grouped together, and they're like things, and it's a little bit separated from this section, which is a little bit different. And this stark darkness contrasts with the light colors here, and the smaller words here. This is bigger, this is smaller, this is darker, this is lighter. So there's grouping, there's you know alignment, there's proximity, and also contrast. It makes this so much more readable and interesting than this, where there's you know everything kind of looks same. Even though there's a little bit of difference, it's not enough. Like, say you make your header like this. Okay, yeah, you made it bolder, but look how much nicer it is to read when you really push that contrast. So it seems like not a big deal, but it is. Like, this is a very different thing than this is. um, so proximity, items relating to each other should be grouped close together. When several items are in close proximity to each other, they become one visual unit rather than several separate units. This helps organize information, reduces clutter, and gives the reader a clear structure. And that's like one of the first pages of the book. Like, there's so much more to it, of course. There's a whole book after this. So, but that's those basic principles. If you think of some of that stuff, it'll help you. I think it's helped me. I think about that, when I'm designing a page and stuff, or when I'm designing even word things with words anyways. So a lot of talking. I might have to run and grab something to drink. Yes, the reverse collage. Yeah, I want to try that. I haven't tried that yet. Have you ever made a comic with Mount? Okay, yeah, we already we did get into that. They've been in the background, but um, what is your most recent comic you've made? I showed that. Excuse me, sorry about that. I showed that recently, and I put it away. I could grab. Why don't I just grab it out again? I can show it really quick. In fact, give me a second. I'm gonna go also get some water to drink, some sparkling water, because my mouth is getting dry and it's hard to talk and stuff. I'll be right back. One sec. I got two sparkling waters. I probably won't even. I don't know. It depends on how long we go, but I probably won't even get to both of these because I just talk too much when I'm here. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. And 9-Volt Anthology. Again, Peter Seckler is the head of that in the Discord, in the Adventures in Comic Making Discord, which used to be my Discord. Now it's all of our Discord, I guess. It's Shell Presto's technically. I gave her the ownership. But man, I just love it's such a positive place. Like there's so much creativity that's happening there. Sideburns here, he knows about it and stuff. Um, and they're doing, they're gonna just keep continuing doing the 9-Volt Anthology, and it's such a great way to just like for a beginner to start getting published and stuff. Sideburns Dan made this cover, which is really a cool cover. He drew it, and Aaron Guzman colored it, who is also known as Monkey Wrench, and he is a freaking awesome artist as well. And I got my bubbly sparkling water coconut pineapple bubbly. Not my favorite of them, but I like it. It's pretty good. But I like some other flavors better. So, anyways, there's a lot of people in here. Peter's got work in here. Here, let's see. We got Marsh Lee, Jacob Moore, Peter Seckler, Bishop, um, even Hill. He's in here sometimes. Rocket Ship Evan Hill, I should say. Daniel McGinnis, also known as Sideburns. So here, this is the latest comic I've made, and it's called The Commute. And why don't we just read it? What do you think? It takes like a minute to read. All right, so I'm traveling in the car. So I moved recently. It's funny. Since this, I've moved again. This means my commute to the day job is much longer. Now it's much shorter. It's kind of my first and probably might be my only autobio comic that I ever do. I don't know because I'm not super interested in doing autobios. Nothing wrong with them. They're just not my thing as much. Anyways, so the commute's much longer. Usually, when I tell this to people, they say it must suck having to drive so far to work and back. I see their point, but secretly, I kind of don't mind. And there's two little bunnies. That was fun to draw. Detour. So it's reading time with Marsh. Makes comics. Marshall Lee. You see, I may be driving to work, but my mind is always traveling to other places. You know, so I go through this tunnel, and all of a sudden, it's kind of weird. And Aaron Guzman, Monkey Wrench, he did this like he does this automatic drawing thing often, and he let me use one of his automatic drawings to kind of do some background stuff. And I thought it would fit this. I could have done my own, but it's just fun to collaborate with people. So I think it came out really cool. So I'm going into this funky tunnel. The potential is limitless, and the car is lifting up off of the road, the windy road, and then because now I'm thinking up worlds, and there's the car is like turning into a creature, and there's something following it. Then there's this creature here. and creatures, and the car kind of throws me up, and I come out on the tongue. Just getting a little trippy with it, and all kinds of adventures, and I'm like flying and stuff. So now when I'm done with the day job, coming back into the car and the commute, I can finally get to my real work. And this actually, I couldn't think of what I wanted to do for a story. Oh, and then I wrote the start instead of the end because it's, the start of the day. It's my commute to work. So, but it's also the start of new ideas, and so anyways, it's kind of silly, but it's just fun. But I was trying to figure out like what should I make for this comic, and didn't have a lot of ideas. This is when I was just coming back out of my like kind of long time of not making comics, and this whole like story kind of, Peter's like, why don't you do a story where you're going to work or something, or I don't remember, like you're driving and you go to this like imaginary place, and when you're done, one of the creatures is like following you or whatever. So that was kind of my interpretation of his little like do that thing. So yeah, that's the last comic I've done. That was done like about a month ago. Like it got published, and I finished it like maybe 2 months ago, something like that. I don't know, somewhere around there. So that's the latest one. All right, let's see the chat. Oh, you said what is my favorite recent? Well, I don't know about my favorite, but my most recent is that. My favorite comic I've made, I don't really know, to be honest. My favorite comic that I've made is ones that I've yet to make. I don't know. The first Glyph was pretty cool. That was my first comic I ever made. Um, Expando was pretty cool. That's in another 9-volt anthology. Yeah, I don't know. Dee Dee, I will show some tomorrow again. Cool, awesome. So we get to see some more mixed media stuff. So if you want to learn more about what she does with that, check out her video tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern in the morning. I'll be there chatting while I'm working. What is your favorite comic series you've read? Another tough one. Probably, possibly The Walking Dead and Sin. I often say Walking Dead and Sin City. They're the ones that were kind of most impactful, I guess, as far as like a good writing and reading experience. Um, but I feel like I haven't read. I love like X Force. The early X Force because that's what I started with, and like Youngblood and Savage Dragon and all the Image guys, Spawn and all that stuff. But they're not the greatest stories in the world. Savage Dragon is a pretty good one. The Spider-Mans, before the Image guys left, a lot of the books they were doing. But again, those books aren't that great stories. Like they were writing their story. These were artists who aren't writers. But they're writing their own stories, and they're good storytellers. And there are artists that are good writers, like Frank Miller, is a great example, who made Sin City. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I've still yet to read something that I super am in love with as far as the writing, except for Walking Dead was pretty good. I just read. Where is it? I have it nearby. I know, actually. Oh, I gotta turn my audio down on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, it's spam anyways. Cool. Um, where is I just had that book that I just read this weekend. And where did I put it? It should be right here somewhere. Anyways, you guys probably know of it anyways. A lot of people have read it. Flashpoint, the Flash story. I almost feel like it's almost like the Flash's version of Dark Knight Returns. It does not have the same vibe at all, but now I turn off the audio on my phone, but my computer dings with the same notification. I should quiet it. Oh no, that was quit, not quiet. Goodness. There's got to be a thing that makes it quiet. I'll figure it out later. But it's similar in Dark Knight Returns. Is like it's kind of a different world. It's not really the continuity of the typical comic and stuff. And it was cool. Like, and there was like I feel like that they created the end first and then worked their way to it, but I don't feel like they did a great job of working their way to it. Like the end was meant to be like this nice like emotional moment and like kind of heartfelt moment and stuff, and I just didn't get the feels from it because I don't feel like they did a great job of leading up to it. I'm still waiting to read a comic that really hits me the way I want a story to hit me. And it possibly exists out there, but for the most part, comics I've read, they don't really hit the feels very often. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to feel something from a comic outside of like humor and laughter, you know. And then that's not trying to be mean. It's just that's what I want. That's my goal in comics to try to learn how to do that. I don't think I can do it. I couldn't write Flashpoint as good as they did. So I'm not really criticizing from a point of like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm just trying to find my way to good story in comics. Let's see. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I kind of answered that for you, but it's not a great answer. It's not a fun answer. Um, it's all about what you see. Yes. Yeah, and that is a way. Like, does the person who's taking in the art or the story, is it, you know, is it about their interpretation or is it about what you meant to show them, or the discussion you were trying to have, and I don't know. I don't really know the answer to it, but I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with this whole idea of like, you know, people wanting the work to say whatever it says to whoever, like something different to every person. I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I don't like super wholeheartedly agree with it yet. I'm kind of contemplating it at this point. Seven is here. Greetings, Marsh, Sideburns, Didi, everybody. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Sweet Lasers. That's a sweet name. Hey man, your channel has really been inspiring me to start making comics. Of course, what I want to make is really high effort. Do you suggest going smaller or chipping away at a big first comic? Uh, well, first of all, thank you. I'm glad that it's been helpful. You may have seen the video I did on how to start your first comic. You may not have. If not, just go to my channel, like the homepage or whatever of my channel, and I think you can find it there. Um, but that is what most people have come to my channel from watching that video. And in it, I talk about a great way to start making your first comic is to start small, start with mini comics, start with anthologies. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. If all you can think of is doing your big, huge, epic comic and you're not going to be satisfied until you start working on that, you know, go for it. But I'll say that road may lead to a lot of disappointment because you got to learn how to make comics. You got to learn. It's if you've never made a comic before, starting with a huge project like it's a lot. I mean, comics, even to make a small comic can be very difficult. And I'll show you my first comic I ever made, which was about, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago. I wanted to make comics my whole life, but These are some of the first comics I made. I have a few left. I don't think I'm going to print them again like this. Once these are gone, they're gone, and I need to like put them up on to for sale or give them away or whatever. This is a different one that I made more recently. I don't have much of the number ones left, only like 4 of them. But anyways, they've been printed and reprinted a bunch of times. I may print them into like an anthology at some point, but this is the first comic I made. It's a mini comic. It's like smaller than my hand. This is like a quarter of a like copy paper. You know, that's the size of it. Glyph and the Terror of Tusk. And yeah, so I made this comic. You can actually read this on my webtoons for free if you'd like. And it's just my character Glyph, who's the graffiti artist whose art comes to life, fighting against his enemy Tusk, King Tusk. He's not named King Tusk at this point, but that's what his name basically is now. And you know, it's like a elephant character with big tusks, and you know, they fight, and the good guy wins, and they're in a subway, like an old abandoned subway, abandoned places, Dee Dee. And you know, it's just a fun little like typical comic book superhero style story, you know. So Donkey Jaw Projects. That's my website is donkeyjawprojects.com, so that's why that's there. But yeah, that is my first comic I ever made. And I personally think it's best. And again, you could do whatever you want. There are people who have done their first big epic thing and done well, but that's like lightning in a bottle type stuff, in my opinion. And I think it's better. Even now, even after I have a bunch of anthologies under my belt and a bunch of small stories, like a good maybe 10 to 15, even now, I'm still going to be focusing on small stories for a while before I get into something much bigger, you know. And small stories being anything from like that 4-page story that I just showed, or even a 1-page story. That's part of something I'm waiting for in the mail that I'm kind of surprised it's not here yet, because it was sent like last week. So, but you know, who knows? We'll see. Hopefully it'll come soon. Hopefully it didn't get lost in the mail. That's what I'm worried about. But anyways, anything from like a 1-page, you could even do a 1-panel comic. You could do comic strips, which I've done those as well. To like one full typical issue that's about 20 to 30 pages, you know. All of that, in my opinion, are very small stories, like, and I'm talking about like one comic that's just one and done story, you know. I would start with anything within those ranges first. I'd really just start with mini comics. Um, and I did start with mini comics. And then, you know, do a few of those. And when you feel like you're ready to tackle your big epic project, you can. One thing that happens is when people do from an early time, and even when it's later on in their career or their work, they start that big project. You develop so much through the process of creating that one big project that in the end you look back and you're like, oh well, there's a huge difference from the first issue to the last, you know. And I almost want to go back and redo the early stuff. Now, I'm not a fan of going back and redoing stuff, but people do it sometimes successfully. Sometimes it's a big hurdle that stops their progress. You know, personally, that sounds like something that's not fun to me, so I won't probably do it ever. Um, but you might run into that trap. Now, if you don't mind that, one cool way uh, to do your big epic story is to do it as a web comic and just release 1 page at a time. and that's like a bite-sized way to just one bite at a time work your way through your epic story, you know. And you can publish it one page at a time, maybe one page a week, a couple pages a week, whatever you can manage. 3 pages a month, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's really up to you and your goals. But yeah, I would start small personally. Um, but if you want to do that big epic thing, and you just know that you're ready, then fine, do that. I don't want to stop anybody from doing what their dream is, but I would caution that you might find it more difficult if you go that route. Let's see. Okay, so that one, I guess, that I was showing at some point. I don't know if it's all of those, but that one was a collage from scratch where it wasn't like kind of collaged into a book. So, what's up, Adam? How you doing? Do 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 do. That is the poster that I liked. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember. I remember you showing it on screen and I was like, "Yes, that's so cool." So I really appreciate you sending that. Thank you. And now I get to see like the cool like detail of it and stuff. So I appreciate that. Let's see. It is all about what you see. Oh yeah, she said that. I think you said it a couple times maybe. Do it. Interview Dee Dee. I know, right? I want to. She. Maybe we will sometime. Landon, what's up? How's it going? I'm doing all right. I took a nap by accident, an accidental nap, and that's why I started the show late, 10 minutes late. That and I had technical difficulties. So let's see. Chris, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Hello, everyone. A bit late coming here. I was marking essays. Ooh, okay. No problem at all. Appreciate you coming in. Dan, be more focused than your camera on live stream. Sun Tzu, probably. Oh, man. I don't know if I can follow Sun Tzu's advice. I'm not good at focusing. That was good, though. I like that. Let's see. Okay. People are talking to each other, which is cool. Mana Rega, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Which book are we looking at, please? I just got in. Ooh. Oh, okay. It looks like Dee Dee answered that. Thank you, Dee Dee. Um, let's see. Yes, not that Robin Williams. Do do do. Cool, cool. The Magical Touch Studio says hi, Marsh and chat. Hello. Thanks for stopping in. We're going to get into some mini comics. So I just talked about, mini comics. We're going to get into mini comics. We'll probably get to some sketching, and I also have Shonen Jump. This is a Japanese authentic Shonen Jump. And if you've never seen one, it might be pretty inspiring. It's every time I look at it, it's inspiring. So we're going to get into just a few mini comics. I have like a box full of them. So we're not going to go to all of them, but one of the characters on the cover almost didn't make it. Really? That's interesting. I mean, I know my character's not on here, but um, I didn't submit one when you asked about it. So, um, because I didn't really have a character, I was the character. And at that time, I didn't even draw it yet, so I didn't really know. Let's see. Oh, it was bishops. Okay. Do 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 do. You can call me Dan Marsh. It's fine. I mean, it's in your, you know, um, your books. Your name is in there. So, Joni's not so fast life. Hello, how you doing? And what's up, everyone in the chat? Yes, yes. Let's see what else we got. Yes. Abba Yahweh reigns 7. I love Yeshua likes to be called 7. So please call this person 7. What's up, Peter? How you doing? Oh, I didn't realize like your avatar is, that's cool. Is your character from this. That is so neat. That's awesome. So I don't know if you saw, I think it's on the last video I did or 2 videos ago, Peter, but I showed all your comics, which are still right here, I think. Where'd it go? Maybe it's in a different room. I could have swore I saw it though. I have so many books around me, guys. It's like, it's crazy. It's craziness. Man, I want to show it again, just briefly. I think it's right here. Yeah, right under the Space Hawk comics. All right, let's see. So again, Peter is like so inspirational to me. He said that I've been inspirational to him, so it's going cyclical. But these are his comics, and they're really cool. And he's got an Instagram. I think it's Empyrean Bull there too, if I'm not mistaken. But you can get a lot of his work though in the nine volt anthologies. He's put a lot in there, so that's cool. But let's see what's he saying. I think Walking Dead may have been the last true breakout success comic. And 2 things to note about it: it's not especially flashy in its art. Yeah, I was talking to was it Nathan? Yeah, I was talking to Nathan. We were in the bookstore the other day, and like he I was showing him how the early art is I think is it I forget now. Is it Tradmore? I want to say Tradmore, but I don't know if I even know the name. Let's see. It's not. It's more something more, right? The Walking Dead comic. Dude, Tony Moore. Tony Moore. I was close. I guess I don't know. Originally, it was Tony Moore as the artist, and then that was for the first I don't know how many issues, and that artwork is actually like I love his artwork. It's a really cool style. But then it changed over to Charlie Adlard, which is also really good, but it's a more simple, basic style, which actually probably fits the story better, to be honest. But I wouldn't have complained if Tony Moore stayed on. Um, but anyways, it's not especially flashy art. I think that's a good description, and it's black and white. But what a great story! Absolutely. I mean, I agree, and I love one thing I always love from Walking Dead is they had the greatest cliffhangers. From each issue to each issue. So that was really cool. Um, let's see. Gary Hodges, what's up? Glad to see you here. I was enjoying your conversation in one of your videos recently, but I won't mention the topic because I know you don't like attention being brought to that topic. I'm probably sort of on the opposite end of what you guys were talking about to a certain degree, but I get what you were saying, and I really enjoyed hearing the discussion about it. I thought it was really cool to see that side of it, and I'm actually on board with you guys about it to a certain extent, but there's a certain extent where I actually really enjoy that particular thing, but I don't want to bring attention to something that you don't want attention brought to. Fun answers only. um, I forget what that is in reference to. Even a bad small comic is difficult. Yes, it's true. I mean, I say that all the time, and it's so true. I think it is. I mean, would you agree, Gary? I mean, I don't know if you've ever made a bad comic though, but I know that what I've seen from your comic looks pretty much very much not bad. So Corey, what's up? Corey was on that show too. It was a really good discussion. Let's see. Da-da-da. Are you watching from a kayak? Oh yeah, I saw the pictures on Corey. I don't. I'm not sure where you were, but it looked amazing. In your Instagram or Facebook, I forget where it was. Peter says, I have a lot of hope for Cat Kid Comic Club. It's a kid's book, but the premise of it is how to make comics. Huh. I have not heard of that. I'm going to have to write that down and see what that's all about. Cat Kid Comic Club, huh? These are all the names of the man cards, or all the ideas for man cards. So maybe I'll get to a man card tonight. We'll see. Oh, I'm not. This is not a good pencil thing to write with. Give me. This is a little better. This is not that much better. It's a brush. I didn't realize it was a brush, but it's okay. Oops. Cat Kid Club or Comic Club. That's kind of a mouthful to say, but that's interesting. All right. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Peter, I may be doing a submission for the next 9-volt anthology, which is a monster theme. And I was gonna ask, I actually asked Evan the other day, but he said it should be fine. But I'll ask you since you're here. Is it okay to do a ghost story? Because I may be already writing a ghost story anyways. So yeah, does that count as monsters? If not, I can make a monster. Monsters are right up my alley. So cute mini comics. Yes, I love mini comics, and they are kind of cute, aren't they? Sometimes. I don't know. I've read some mini comics that aren't so cute. Sideburns has a web comic, true. I was in a kayak yesterday, but today I'm in the office. Nice. It would be cool if you were here from the kayak, though. That would be even cooler. Cooler. Let's see what else. People are talking to each other. Yes, thanks for showing my comics. Working on volume, what is that? 4. Yes, 4. I have to remember what the Roman numerals, how the Roman numerals work. What's up, Hanif? How you doing? Let's see. What's your IG name, Vol? Yes, tell us for sure. I think it's Empyrean Vol, maybe, but I can't remember for sure. Do 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 do. Let's see. You are bringing up a brave family. Okay. Uh, 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 uh. Talking to each other. All right, here we go. Great news. I had finished my comic and planning to print it out and making a book. That's awesome. That is so cool. Man, we'll talk about this too a little bit. I'm really kind of gearing up to do this sketchbook thing, like print the sketchbook. I think I might do print on demand. I might use the same thing that Peter used for the 9-volt anthology, which is Lulu. I think it might be a good way to go about. And what I want to do, I'll give you guys the idea. Let me know what you think of this. I don't know, it's not really a great name, but I was thinking like I want to do a book and I want to make it as thick as I can without going too far in the price range. I want you guys to be able to buy it and it's not too expensive. So I'm thinking like what Peter does a lot of times. I was studying your books on Lulu last night, Peter, or the 9-volt stuff. A lot of times it's like 120 pages, like or that's like I think the biggest you usually print, Peter, if I'm not mistaken, and that I think keeps the cost lower. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could do 100. Maybe I could fit it all into 120 pages. It won't be perfect. It's not going to be color. It'll be black and white. And I won't get everything, but that's probably a good limitation for me. But I'm thinking, I want to go through all my sketchbooks, all my art, and make from literally like since I was a little kid to now, like a everything sketchbook, like and I'm obviously not every drawing I've ever made is going to fit in there. Not I might put some comic pages in there. Not every comic page I've ever made is going to fit in there. But I want it to be like a thing that even just for me that I can look at and be like, okay, this is from then till now. And now is like the point where I feel like I'm finally at a point where it's like, okay, we're gonna really make this happen. Like I've been doing all this stuff and I've been enjoying practicing and learning comics and stuff, but I feel like I'm at a place where I'm getting close to like really doing it like as good as I can. I don't it's always going to be like doing it as good as I can, but hey, look what's right it happens to be right on top. Another Peter Seckler mini comic. Cool. Anyways, so I was thinking cuz I'm 43 years old. So basically the first 40 years of my life. Um hopefully there's another 40. That would be cool. But anyways, the first 40 years of my life, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it could be called like Marsh's like wandering wilderness sketchbook. Cause like the 40 years in the wilderness, like the Jews and coming out of Egypt and all that stuff. And I'm about ready to go into the promised land of comics. I mean, that's the dream at least, right? And I don't know if comics is a very good promised land to go to. Yeah, I don't know if the milk and honey might be like something different. It might be like sour grapes and lemon. I don't know. But anyways, but like my first like just documenting my first 40 years of just sketches, and it's not going to be obviously everything, but I don't know, Marshall Lee's like wandering wilderness sketchbook, it kind of like people will be like, well, I thought I was going to come here and see like nature drawings. So it's probably not the best name. Maybe there's a better name for it, but that was my like rough idea, but I really want to print that. I'm also thinking about using print on demand Lulu probably to finally like finish the cover for Corn Cob Rob and print that as just an issue. And then I want to do kind of like Peter did. Like I've been wanting to do this style book for a long time. I've been inspired by Corey Lewis also, who does like his own anthology of his own comics and stuff. And that's kind of what this is too. And there's a lot of other people who have done that kind of thing. And also anthologies are just traditionally, I mean, that's where most of the comics we know about, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all those came out of anthologies first, anthology comics. So it's a great tradition of comics to do anthologies. And I have plenty of stories that have been in anthologies and stuff that I can collect into at least one issue of anthology. So I got three things that I may do all print on demand Lulu. These aren't going to be kickstarted or anything like that. They're just kind of something that people can, if they want to get into my stuff, they can read that. I will probably eventually do like a crowdfunder for something else, for other things, but this is going to be just kind of more on that print on demand type of style. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing it that way. Let me know what you guys think. So I want to see if I can get through the rest of this chat, and then we'll get into some mini comics. Um, Absolutely cool to do a ghost story. All right, cool. That's awesome. I would 100% agree. Any level or length of comic is a lot of work. Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree too. And Gary, you're one of the few people like within the circle of friends that I have not had on my show yet. So I think that needs to happen, man. We need to have you. I need to have you on the show. We can have some fun, talk about whatever. I think it would be really cool. And I gotta also get a copy of your comic. I think the last time I went to look to buy a comic, I think they were out of print by then, so that kind of sucked. But that's all right. I'll catch up at some point. But I remember what I have seen. I've thought looked really cool. So Evan's here. What's up, Evan? I was mentioning the latest 9 Volt anthology, and I just mentioned all the people who were in it and stuff. So yeah, what's up, Chris? I guess the story is more important than the drawing. I would say technically it is, yes. But I think they're both very important, and the drawing is the story, and if you're a good comic book artist, then you're good at storytelling, so um it's kind of like saying, when you write a story, like, is it character based, or like, is character more important or plot? Well, the truth is, one can't be separated from the other, really. And I personally think character is kind of more important, but it's not necessarily. Most stories out there, in popular fiction, whether it's novels, movies, TV shows, cartoons, comic books, more often than not, they're relatively plot based. But I like character based stuff a lot too. And um, and I'm talking about, like, popular stories. There's tons of character based stories, of course. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. But the story, I do think that there is not enough emphasis on story. I actually heard Peter Samedi say, or somebody in Peter Samedi's video say something like that today. But I agree. I 100% agree that, like, people, we don't, as comic creators, like in a lot of comic book YouTube streams, we don't hear people talking about story enough, I feel like. And you really can't have one without the other. With comics, that if they're you want the goal is for them both to be good, I would say. Let's see. What happened? I didn't mean to. Well, I guess, yeah, I'll put that up. Publishing the sketchbook is a great idea. Jake Parker, Inktober, publishes a sketchbook every year. Yeah, he's definitely part of my inspiration with that. Like, he literally publishes sketchbooks just so he can have them. I've seen him talk about that in videos, and that's literally what I want to do with my sketchbook as well. Is I just want it, and I know other people here have been talking about they'd love to see my sketchbook, a sketchbook from me. So I'm going to do it. It takes a lot of scanning. I've already started, but it's going to be a lot. I'm going to basically scan everything, even if it's in color. Obviously, color things won't be included in that book, but yeah. Opinion's very hard, but I totally believe the story is of central importance. However, the story is in the art too, so it's not so easy to say. Yes, it's very similar. That's kind of what I was saying too. Let's see. Gotta run. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit, Corey. Corey's been on the show a couple times. Let's see. I'd love to drop in, dude. Let me know. Yeah, man, that would be dope. Um, I definitely want to do that. We'll talk about timing and stuff. So yeah, we'll do a message on Facebook. That's cool. Cool. Um, you should do a sketchbook. I would love to see it. Nathan, oh my gosh. So Nathan and I have hung out a few. I know Nathan from church. That's how we met. We went on there was like this Christian hike group from his church, and I went on that, for a year and a half ago. I don't know, something like that. And that's where I met Nathan. But he happens to be like a really great artist too. Um, and so we talk about art a lot and stuff. So we hang out once in a while, and I hung out with him actually, just, was it yesterday? It was yesterday, right? Yes, yesterday. And he showed me his sketchbook, guys, and like, I already loved his art. Like, he's got a very painterly digital style. Um, but oh my gosh, like, you guys don't even know, like, Nathan needs to be making comics. Like, holy crap. I am just blown away by a sketchbook, to the point where I don't even know if I'm like intimidated to touch my sketchbook again. But at the same time, it made me want to sketch. Like, I wanted to sketch so bad last night, but by the time I got home, I was just too tired. Um, but anyways, let's get through some of these mini comics. I am currently caught up with the chat. So we got Peter Seckler. Awesome, dude. Love all the work you've done in the the Discord. It's been so awesome. Like you've encouraged so many people to make comics, and I love it. And what you've done with the 9 volt anthology, and just how many pages you've made in the last few years. Oh my gosh, it's insane. And I mean, I'm super inspired by what Peter Seckler does. And 2019, signed by Peter. So yes, this is literally a very random stack. I did not choose this for the show. So whatever's in here is in here. This may be the original. I think this is the original that I drew on. This is the actual comic, the first of this folded one-page comic, Rabid Rabbit, that I made. I made this around. I think I made this around the time I made my first comic. Actually, it might have been at the same time exactly. Yeah, my website was still plexhop.com, which that's like ancient. It's not a website anymore. Another Rabbit Fighter mini comic. I don't want to show everything because I'm not trying to spoil everything. Um, if you guys have ever watched the Lean Into Art YouTube channel, or I don't know if it's a channel, I forget, but they started off as a podcast, and they were doing it on YouTube. I think they still do it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I haven't looked either. But Jersey Droz, who was like part of the classic, you know, art and story podcast that I've talked about a million times, where Scott and I and Scott Circlin, Peter. There's too many Peters in comics. Peter Palmiotti. A lot of people. Kevin Cross was on that show, but us three who I first mentioned were part of the audience. Also, Rob Stenzinger, who made this particular comic. So Rob Stenzinger, and anyways, there was that podcast a long time ago. That's how I made my first comic. That's where I found out about so much stuff. That was like the bee's knees, that podcast. Now, I think there's more of his stuff underneath. This is more like a kid's, mini comic. But him and Jersey Droz do the Lean Into Art podcast. It's a little bit blown out there. Okay, cool. So this is just more like for kids type of thing. He does some stuff with his wife. Yeah, this one says Kate Stenzinger. His wife is a child psychologist or something, or she works with children or something. Um, and so they do some stuff for kids sometimes together. And this is my other one. This is the one of the one-page comics that I did for the one-page comic challenge. And this, I think, was the one I actually was successful at. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and I didn't do any extra penciling. I did it as rough as possible to get through it in 1 hour, the 1 hour, one comic challenge. That's something worth checking out. And again, the person who was saying, like, how should I start making comics? This is like the perfect way to make your first comic. You can literally make your first comic in an hour, if or a little bit more. The first time I did it, I failed, and I took a little more time to finish it, but I still made a comic in close to an hour. And this is the one where I didn't fail, and I literally just used a Bic pen to make the whole comic, and did it all in under an hour. And yeah, it was hard. It's a tough challenge to do, and a lot of people have followed in my footsteps and done that. And I mean, I'm not the first one who's ever made a comic like this. I learned this from other people who have done it for a lot longer than I have. The person who taught me about mini comics, who I never knew about mini comics until I met this person in a comic shop. Um, Todd Webb, love his stuff. He's still active today. He does like a comic strip on Instagram. He also does the modular synth stuff that I do as well. And I just love the simplicity of his stories. He always, it's like his stories are like just these really nice stories that, like, sometimes they're a little challenging, but a lot of times they're just like I don't know, they're like heartwarming. They remind you that life can be simple, like they just remind you of like the more important things in life. And he used to do an autobio daily comic, and I was in some of them because we went to go see Ben Folds together. We hung out together a few times, and he put some of the things that we talked about, like as we were hanging out talking about comics, in his comic at one point. Really cool dude, still active today. He's got a career in illustration and comics. He's worked for Nickelodeon and stuff, um, and he's just a really awesome person. And yeah, Roger Langridge. This, I think, is from the first mini comics dump truck that we did in the art and story podcast. That's where Glyph first came out. And he's another guy who's like a really cool artist and stuff. I don't know if this website still works, but hotelfred.com, so maybe you could find his stuff there. So you can see artandstorypodcast.com. That I don't know if that site's still up, but they used to have all their podcasts archived there once they stopped. But it's a great podcast. This is Jono Demofan. I'm pretty sure he's the one who I first saw make this, folded comic, and that's how I learned how to make this folded comic. And this is one that he made again from that same time. A lot of these are going to be from that Art and Story podcast time. Um, this is my friend who I haven't talked to in a while, Ryan Wheaton. He did like a bunch of comics, a bunch of mini comics. I really liked his style. And I still do, but he got into doing tattoo work, and he kind of hasn't looked back since. But I actually made like 8-bit kind of music because he was going to make a video game for his astronaut. He had this comic, and it might be in here, called Astronauts, like NOTS, like not astro, like it's like a funny take on astronaut. And there was a cat, an astronaut, like a cat in space type of thing. He's got a little a little sketch there. And I always loved his little mini comics. They were always playing around with different styles, different types of stories, different techniques, and always really fun. So that's a cool one. Thing about mini comics is they're handmade. There's that handmade aspect to them. They're just really cool, and you can do so much. You can test out ideas. Like, mini comics is the bee's knees for sure. So this is that same guy, Robert, who does the Lean Into Art podcast with Jersey Droz, Rob Stenzinger. And this is his like actual comic. He did it as a web comic, and then he published that full story, which I have that too somewhere. That's more of a thicker comic, but this is like a mini comic of that comic. And it's cool because you could do so many different techniques when you're doing like mini mini comics. It's really up to your imagination. And his thing is called Art Geek Zoo, The Way of Sound. And it's kind of similar to my Glyph thing, where I like the art came to life, and his guitars and music and stuff comes to life. So yeah, I have a ton of comics. These are just like quarter page comics, just like what I did, but like this is literally one piece of paper with one staple, one piece of paper cut in half, folded, and one staple in it. And so that makes like 8 pages. And that's like a super easy way. You can just, with your photocopier, make your own comic like today, and this is that Todd Webb guy who I was just telling you, did the goldfish one, the goldfish and Bob. And he did like little sketchbooks, actually. Sometimes there was comics in them, sometimes they were more just sketchbooks, and they were just these little 8-page things, and they're fun. Here's like a whole bunch of them collected into one, and it's just super fun. And I'm probably in one of these somewhere here, but anyways, I won't go through all of them, but I mean, how easy and fun is this to make? Like, you can do this. Anybody can do this stuff, you know? Even if all you can draw is stick figures, you know, you can still do it. Here's one, the Hardly Boys. This is a fun little story, you know, fun little take on the Hardy Boys. Yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of his comics in here. There's some notes I wrote on something, a drawing that I didn't like, so I crossed it out apparently. I think I redrew this though, because there's like, I tried to color this at one point, I think. Like, I like this, but I think I can see like the face got messed up, so I didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know why I crossed that out. It's kind of silly, but whatever. Little drawing. Yeah, Life with the Mummy. Again, so many different Todd Webb comics. I mean, and you can knock these out quick, so it's like you can make a bunch of them. I mean, even these are hard to make though, like we were saying earlier. You know, it takes time even to make these, but you could do the 1 hour comic though. This is Dave Hingley. He's another guy who's super prolific, and he's made these, you know, 1 hour comics as well. He's made a bunch of them actually, um, or one page comics, and you know, another guy who's super. He's super inspiring to me. He's got a huge page count, just like Peter Seckler does, of comics he's made, which is really cool. Again, you can play with different kinds of ways of binding comics with mini comics. There's just so much creativity. This is the guy who, again, John O'Demafon, who showed me and many others how to do the one-page little tiny mini comic. But this is one of his stories, and you know, there's a note to me because I probably ordered them from his website or something at one point. And yeah, I've read all these. They're all cool. This is a mini monster coloring book from that same guy, Ryan Wheaton, who him and I actually, we did a comic book swap thing, like where we organized it years ago after Art and Story dissolved. Um, we did our own mini comic dump truck thing, and we had a lot of people involved, and that's how I made my second mini comic actually. So this is like a mini monster coloring book. Like, what a fun little idea, you know. So you could color these pages. Now I didn't color them because I'm like, I'm not going to color them. I like the art. I just want to look at the art. And I think he used to do these daily monsters, if I'm not mistaken, and so he turned it into a coloring book. So I mean, you could do so many little things. I've seen many people do little sketchbooks, you know, with in the mini comic fashion. Here again, this is more from Ryan Wheaton, you know. So, and this right here, this is one of my favorite things that I own ever. There's this dude. Um, I have some of his art on my wall. I haven't talked to these guys in a while. Ted Secco, Ted Secco, and he's one of my favorites because he actually works for he works on SpongeBob SquarePants. He's one of the animators, one of the many animators. Like, he's not, you know, I think he does like backgrounds or in betweens or something. You know, he's not like the creator or anything, but he works in that studio. And so this guy, he has like that Kirby energy. He does like the stark lines. I watched him put together a comic page in like 10 minutes one time on or he's done it a few times. He has like, I don't know if he still has his YouTube channel, but some of his old videos, it's so inspiring because I remember he was just talking about, he's like, oh man, I just had a rough day at work and I'm just not happy right now. And he was getting his frustrations out on the page, and he just knocked out a page like in 10 minutes. And it's like this kind of crazy stark style, but you know, he's also an animator, so he knows how to draw fast. And he also does like these paintings too that I just feel like have a lot of fun energy. He loves drawing monsters and stuff. That's what this book is, just like a comic book slash profile of like some monster characters he's created. I'm going to show this whole thing because I just love it. You can see like this is a painting and it's on canvas. You can see the texture of the canvas here. Um, you know, you might not be able to see it in the camera so much, but I don't know. It looks deceivingly simple, but there's some genius in here too that I really love. Like I don't know what it is about his stuff, but it's just got a great energy. This looks like the Thing. That's like that classic moment in Fantastic Four with the Thing. So you could tell he's like doing a bit of a homage to that. And it's cool. It's like he's mixing. It's a different way to do mixed media. It's like he's mixing comics with paintings and stuff like within the same story, and it's so fun, and it's got this like old school sci-fi thing like to this one, to some of this, and really cool. He knows like there's some really cool scale. It's hard to see like, but there's little figures here, and the big figure walking by, so they're showing that scale, which is interesting. And it's just always he's also like when you hear him talk, he was on a podcast with Javier Hernandez, who's also a big inspiration of mine, from the indie comic world. And they have great conversations. They get into kind of deep stuff, and it's fun. It's always I don't know if they're so random about how they do the podcast. It's not like it used to be more consistent. I don't know if they even do it anymore, but um, yeah, just a great guy. Ted Secco, like when you hear him talk, you're like, oh man, that guy's a great guy. Like I want to know that guy. I mean, I feel that way about a lot of the creators around our circles and stuff here. But look at this Super Monster Creature Gallery. Like so he's got, I love this whole thing, like of you put a character and then you write a little description of them, the red snare. So he's got a bunch of these. They're all painted. The Parader, I guess, fighting Mad Patriot, the Pink Blossom, you know, Rager, Ultimate Juggernaut, Hourglass Girl, Shapely Siren of the Night, Burning Knight, the Eternal Warrior. This definitely looks Kirby-esque. It reminds me of the demon character he created. Tritrogs of Troll Town. So that's cool. And they're like simple designs, a lot of them, but there's a cool, like, I don't know, even though they're simple, they're cool, And I like, there's some cool painting techniques where he's like digging into the paint. Yeah, I've done that too. Um, so he can never rest. Death face. Nothing escapes the swamp. There's been so many swamp characters, and that's a unique version of it. I like that. Rock fist, rough and tumble, rock and boulder roller. Zomborg, the robot zombie. I mean, come on, come on. Contaminatrix, his touch means death. And this is cool. This is him, Ted Secco. It walks like a man, Ted Secco. So cool, so fun. Like this is one of my favorite things that I own. All right, let's see. Chris McQuinlan, him, myself, and Mike Emirates are the ones who put together the first 100 Days of Making Comics anthology. We decided, man, why don't we do something together? And we're like, let's do it. So we did it. And anyways, this is one of his early sketchbooks that he made. Again, mini comics. You can make sketchbooks just by using mini comics. And I love Chris Quinlan's work. His stuff has evolved, since this time. He tends to do more cartoony stuff. He's an illustrator out of Australia, and really positive dude. Has some great YouTube videos. He hasn't done any in a while, but that I know of. But he's just a really cool dude and really great illustrator, who works professionally, and here's some sketches and some illustrations. So yeah, again, really cool stuff. Here we go. Kevin Cross and Mark Rudolph did a zine. I don't know if they ever did more. I think they almost finished like a second one, but maybe didn't publish it. I don't know, or maybe I just didn't get it. But anyway, this is a zine that's not a comic, but it's like an old school, like, punk rock type zine. And it's mixing it's both of them kind of talking about punk rock and metal, Dead Kennedys, Entombed, rock and roll haikus, thoughtful essays, and so much more. And there's a bunch of cool illustrations from Kevin Cross and Mark Rudolph in here. They definitely going with that old school zine aesthetic, and yeah, it's really cool. This was done during the Art and Story days, some Kevin Cross illustrations that are really cool. This is actually his story before he he got in when he was into metal, and then when he got into punk rock, everything changed. And here is the after. So that's Kevin Cross, little cartoony portrait. Just cool stuff. So Pat Higgins, another guy who comes from the Art and Story time, make a mini comic, a little kind of goofy tutorial, but it does tell you how to actually make a mini comic, um, just like the one I'm holding in my hand. So that's cool. He's a guy who's an illustrator, and he's still very active. And every once in a while, I see he's published a comic, and I usually buy it. Evan Spears. I remember him, but I'm not sure if I remember him. But this is actually a mini comic I got from somebody else, who just sent me a bunch of stuff. More of that Pat Higgins guy. Season's greetings from Ted Secco. He sent me a card at one point in Christmas time, so that's fun. More stuff from Ryan Wheaton, just those little simple sketch things. Mini Monsters coloring book. Who is this? This is Ted Secco, and it's again another person made a monster coloring book, in a mini comic format. Like, this is fun stuff. This is a very tiny Bob the Goldfish from Todd Webb Goes to Mars. He made, I think, an even smaller comic than this too. Um, This is one I think they showed on Cartoonist Kayfabe, and I was surprised when I was going through that I actually have this. But this is actually like a fan fiction thing of Popeye Doppelganger, and I must have bought it from the artist. Like, I don't know where. Oh, you know what? I might have got this. Somebody might have sent this to me. Jamie Gamble, who's also was part of the Art and Story, he's more of a writer, but he's also made his own mini comics. He sent me a bunch of stuff one time, and I feel like this was part of it. But yeah, I mean, this is just a fun crazy take on, Popeye, and he's fighting a bunch of himself. I think he's like multiplying and fighting himself, and it's just silliness and craziness, and yeah, really cool. Square Dances by Colin Tedford. See, I'll just show you guys this because it's like another example of mini comics, but this is like the style where you just fold a regular, like, printer paper in half, and a bunch of them in half, and staple them. You get a long arm stapler, which I have one of those. You can get them at like Staples and stuff. And yeah, that's another easy way to make webcomic or mini comics. Midnight Snack by the same creator, and you can always play with format. Another one by Ryan Wheaton, A Very Unmerry Christmas. That's like more of a sketchy one. This is like, you can also do like super produced mini comics as well. So this is something that was made by a person I don't really know, but they even did like this folded kind of color cover. Like, a lot of times they'll print these comics, but they'll print, like, sometimes you can go with a printing company, and they'll print like just the cover at one place, and then they'll print the insides at another place, and then they'll put it all together. And that's kind of a way to get some interesting, like some interesting version kind of comics, like playing around with the format and stuff. So this is, I got two of these. Again, this is stuff that somebody sent to me, I think. So, I didn't actually buy these ones. I think this might be another one that's like that. I have so many mini comics, guys. So this is like that again, playing with a different format, the longer, folding it the longer way, and you know, just so many cool things. There's so much you can do with mini comics. So I'm gonna catch up with the chat, and then we'll get into the Shonen Jump. I might not end up having time to do any drawing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we do any drawing at the end of the day. Um, so I should put these two in a different box so I don't show those ones again, and I show different ones next time. All right, so let us get to the chat. All right, looks like I'm not super far behind, so that's good. I just Drew DeRose Art. How you doing? Thanks for hanging out. I just watched Mark Crilly's video on this exact subject. Oh, really? He did a mini comic thing. It was super informative. He was talking about how publishers are more concerned with story than art. Oh, okay. Excuse me. So it was more about the whole story versus art thing. That's cool. I'll have to check that out. Mark Crilly is like, he's like the godfather of like YouTube comic guys. Like I think the first one who did it. I don't know, but he's a cool guy. Really nice guy. I like his videos. Let's see. Those are so cool. I agree. I love mini comics. Nathan, I do need to put something up on IG. Dee, it's yeah, yes, please, Nathan, put some stuff up. You got to see his sketches. They're like so good. It's insane. Peter Palmiotti, Peter Cimetti, and I are all actually the same people from different parts of the multiverse. I am from Earth C. Okay, that's good to know. Anytime I need to find you, I'll go to Earth C. Hanif, really love the concept of the sketchbook. I love to make compilation of my drawings since my childhood, but sadly, all of my drawings are lost. That is sad. I have almost everything I've ever drawn since like nursery school. Like it's insane. Like I literally have a whole bunch of nursery school art that I did. I've showed it actually. I have a video that shows like my earliest art. It might be hard to find. I don't know, but let's see. Seven says, "Thank you for sharing, Marsh." Yeah, anytime. It's fun, right? Drew says he was showing one of the best-selling graphic novels that has extremely simplistic drawings, but because the story and humor is done so well, the publisher loved it. I'll have to get the name of it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Story can kind of trump the art. I mean, not trump it, but like it can, if you get the story right, you know, as long as the storytelling is clear, even if the art, like if the art is is not the best, but it's clear storytelling, like you can do a lot, just with story. Chris X Strings, how you doing? Thanks for coming on or coming by. The hour challenge, Big Eyes video is epic, Marsh. Yeah, isn't it great? Like it's fun. And everybody else, you should try it. Like it's, you know, an hour from now, you could have a whole new comic that you made. It's hard. I was sweating in my, socks or whatever you want to say. Both times I tried to do it. What I really like is that it demonstrates that you have tons of skill and style. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I don't know if I have tons of skill and style, but thank you. Maybe I do. Peter says, "Whoa, Roger Langridge. He took over Popeye for a while. I think he did 3 or 4 Popeye books that are really good." Oh, wow, cool, awesome. It's funny how like there's people historically in comics you might even run into them, but you just don't even know. The other comic guy checking in. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Evan says, "I love that about comics. Anyone can do them with everyday items." Absolutely. Absolutely. I had somebody comment in one of my videos a while back who said, "What if I don't even have paper and pencil?" And I'm like, "Well, do you have a cave nearby? Like, I don't know. Like, you got to have something that you can make a mark with and something that you can make a mark on, and you can still make comics." You can take a stick and write in the dirt. It's not very permanent, but you could do something. Hingley rules. He so does. He did Inktober one year and made a comic page for every day. Yeah, Dave Hingley is the bee's knees for sure. Love the monochrome color washes. Yeah, that can be a really cool effect, and especially in the mini comics. And if has a question, which paper is suitable for comic printing? Every paper. But my favorite is newsprint, but it's not easy to do the newsprint. The old school alternate, the way the Alterna does it is the newsprint. Maybe I should go through Alterna comics one of these days. I got a lot of them. I got almost all of them that have ever been printed. As far as the when he started doing newsprint. Um, let's see. So, but what's suitable for comic? I mean, literally, you can do copy paper. I mean, when I go to Staples to print my comics, when I have in the past, I'll look for the paper that I want, and usually I'll do a little bit thicker than typical copy paper because copy paper you can kind of see through and stuff, but it's fine to use, for mini comics. But you can select whatever paper, man, whatever paper you dig, like do it. Um, it's hard. I don't know if typical printers will take to newsprint very well, but I'm gonna try it, and I might break my printer. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna try it when I get some newsprint that's the right size or whatever. Because I love newsprint. So, and it's different than the typical way they print on newsprint, but I don't care. I think it's still fun. Gibran from Jeff Lafferty's videos and stuff, who made this that I bought recently. He is currently working on. He's kind of made his own comic from on his printer with newsprint, and it looks really cool. But he hasn't like actually printed it for duplication yet. But he's kind of working on that, I think. So sideburns, gotta go. Great stream, Marsh. By the way, thanks. I appreciate that. No problem. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. Gladman Comics, what's up? Ali LG or Ali G. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. Cool. All right. So let's get into Shonen Jump. Have you ever actually seen a real Japanese Shonen Jump? Like, I don't know. I've never seen one until recently. There's a couple more at the comic shop that I got this at, and I might have to grab those too at some point. But this is weekly Shonen Jump. If you don't know, I was talking to Nathan about this yesterday. This is such an inspiring thing. First of all, I'm not going to go into my whole Japan comics thing, but I'll try to say it briefly the best I can. Japan is kicking our butt and has been for a very long time in selling comics and making comics. Their comics are way more popular than anything America has made, except for like obviously Batman and Superman and all that stuff is popular, but they outsell all like some of their lesser known popular comics outsell Batman and Superman every year, like easily. um, they're kicking butt and taking names. And anyway, so this is how traditionally they don't actually Shonen Jump. I think is all digital now, but and they're kicking butt in the digital game too. But this is how they traditionally published their comics in Japan. I think they probably still have magazines. I don't know, but this is like a phone book. This is huge, and it's phone book quality. Like if, and I mean, younger kids don't even probably know what phone books are. I don't know. They print them still, but they're smaller. But phone books used to be like this thick, and they had most people's numbers in them. It was the way we communicated there when there was no internet. It was through phone, and we had phone books sent to our house. That's what this is. It's a phone book, and it's printed. You can see. I don't know if you can see this. It's probably hard to see, but you'll see as we flip through a little bit. It's printed on paper, like newsprint paper, and it's all different colors. You can tell that they don't care about the quality. The quality doesn't really matter. The quality of the story and the art inside matters, but the actual printing quality, like you could tell that they're just trying to get this out every week. It's like a newspaper. It's not meant to be high quality. It's meant to be, disposable. I would never throw these away, but disposable um, media that you read, and next week you get the other one. And another cool thing about these Japan comics is they came out weekly, and people vote, and I think they still do this with the digital, but people vote on what's the best comic, and the ones that aren't voted, so many times in a row get kicked out, and they get discontinued, and the ones that are long running have been voted to be the best for a long, and they're voted by the readers. So the readers are dictating basically what gets printed, and I think that's a great way to show, to find out what's worthwhile. What's actually a good story. The cream kind of rises to the top. So anyways, Japanese comics. I'm going to only quickly go through. This magazine specifically is meant for boys, but you can see, like, this is not quality printing. Like, it's fading, and it's almost like it's newsprint, but it's almost like construction paper, and there's like different colors. I mean, and this is like Naratu. Like, it's 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 published like, this is one of the most well-known comics, animes, manga, and it's published in a very low quality way. But I still think it's freaking awesome. One Piece is in here. Like, you know, this is, and I'm so like enamored by, like, anime is cool, but to me, manga comics, it's a whole other world. Like, it's so amazing, the movement, the energy. Like, you know, um, One Piece, like the kid just punches through a building. Like, that's his fist. He punches a guy through a building here. Like, this is the type of stuff, you get in manga comics. So this is just one issue, you know, and I'm super, super like inspired by, you know, Shonen Jump. This is which this one is another famous one, I think. I'm not super familiar with all the like comic stories, manga stories and stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like a pretty famous one as well. Um, because I recognize it and stuff. But it's just really cool, all the different styles. You know, a lot of the most popular manga were first published in Shonen Jump as a weekly comic, and these are like sometimes like 10, 12 page comics that they do in one week. They have teams working on them, but I mean, they actually work too hard. I think it's actually kind of abuse, to be honest, how much they have to work. Oh, there's a little racy stuff too, a little bit, um, and some of this stuff. There's like, and they have, comics about different things. It's not just superhero style comics. This one's about baseball, and it's super well known, super popular. Um, and obviously, baseball is very popular in Japan. But it's like, if I saw a baseball comic like this, I might actually like it because it looks action packed and fun, and I don't know, like, I never would think I'd be interested in a baseball comic, but this looks awesome. Like, so yeah. Um, oh, this is another popular one, well-known one, but I don't know the name. But yeah, so I don't know, and it's like all these pages are different colors. It's not. I don't think they like plan it. I think they just use whatever junk newsprint they have and print the thing. They got to get it out the door every week. And I don't know. It's just so inspiring to me. Like, I love this book. Anytime I need some inspiration, if I just go to this book, I'll be like, I'm good. Like let's make some comics. Actually, it's making me want to draw now. Like I don't know what this is. This is really cool. I love it. Like there's some expressive. Let's see. DC Rayman. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Sometimes they have some English words in here. So yeah, DCDO or DG. Oh, D Gray Man. Maybe it's D Gray Man. I have to look that up because it would. This looks like something that's right up my alley. Like the cool, crazy designs. They use a lot of like zipatone and speed lines, and another thing that's really cool about actual Japanese manga comics is, that's different than the American versions is the sound effects. Like what they do with sound effects with the lettering is just it's always like 3D jumping at you. It's so powerful. The movement, like yeah, this just looks like a cool comic. Like they do really cool stuff with sound effects. This isn't necessarily showing the best stuff that I've seen as far as sound effects go, but there's other ones that are really like you don't get it as much in the American version because they have to like change it to a word. Sometimes they just leave it in the Japanese version. Like so, yeah. There's just so much cool stuff. Again, different styles. I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball came from Shonen Jump and stuff. Like so, yeah. That's that. Shonen Jump is freaking awesome. If you can get your hands on a copy of the Japanese version of one of the Japanese ones, I would say do it. You know. So let's catch up with chat, and then we'll get into some sketching. Maybe I'll do another man card or something here. Been going for 2 hours. We can go for a little longer. Do some art, right? Hopefully, you guys are into it. Let's see. I know everybody can't stay for the whole thing or anything. It's no big deal, but Gladman Comics. I used to have some of those, a couple of Japanese exchange students who stayed with me when I was a kid. So I was lucky to be able to read through some. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, they're so cool. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do some more man cards or I'm gonna take a sip here, or I could start trying to fill up a sketchbook. So one thing that's really cool. Oh my gosh, like I'm telling you, like Nathan showed me his sketchbook yesterday, and I'm telling you, like my jaw dropped, my mouth was watering. I'm like, holy cow, like this is this is beyond what I do. Like I have these sparse like pages, sometimes there's only one illustration. Sometimes I fill the page up. He fills up every page, and that's what I want to start doing from now on. Like after seeing his, like I'm gonna start doing. And he sketches always in ballpoint pen, which I love sketching in ballpoint pen, but I haven't been lately. Lately, I'm going back to it. I mean, I have. Look, see, like these are recent. These gesture figure studies I was doing in ballpoint pen. Um, but I think I'm gonna get back to like what he does with ballpoint pen. Oh my gosh, you guys! Like he is a pro artist. Like he is so like I'm telling you, like I am like I'm obsessed. Like Nathan, next time if you're still here, next time we hang out, please bring another sketchbook because I want to see more. I really want to see more. Like bring one of your older ones or whatever, because I'm so inspired by looking at your sketchbook, man. So we've got some ideas here for man cards, which have been fun. I made another man card. It's for Dee Dee. It's right here, but I'm not showing her. You can sort of see like from the back. But that's going to be a surprise for Dee Dee. I think it came out really cool and fun. I showed Nathan. Nathan saw it on my phone. But yeah, I want to make more. So let's do some more man cards. I can start with the outline. So we have these ideas that were sent in the last live stream. A lot of people had some cool ideas. So we have Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, got Vin Diesel, Arnold Predator. That's the first one I did. Somebody bought it, and Dee Dee got really mad at me about that. Sorry, Dee Dee. 300 movie, some stuff from that. Russell Crowe from Gladiator, James Bond, Daniel Craig, James Bond, I guess. Clint Eastwood, another great one. Charles Bronson from Death Wish, Captain Kirk, Sampson, Brad Pitt Fight Club, Johnny Depp Captain Jack, Crocodile Dundee shaving with his big knife, Fabio. I'll be honest, I don't know that I'm gonna draw Fabio. A lumberjack, just a lumberjack, which would be cool. Hugh Jackman, probably as Wolverine. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna take another sip and do some more chat here. I love sketching with ballpoint. I would love to see your drawings, Nathan. Yes, please post them, Nathan. Sure, I'll bring another sketchbook next time we hang. Awesome. I look forward to it. It's so I like I know I'm gushing, but I can't I still can't get over like the sketchbook. I'm sorry. Like he does some compositions that are so good, and I just love it. I love it. All right. We got some drink. We got some stuff. Let me get up. Where's my backpack is over there. I gotta go grab my backpack because it has my sketchy stuff in it. Oh, plus it's good to stretch for a minute, right? All right, here we go. So, anybody got any interesting topics you'd like to discuss, chat about while we're doing some sketching? Here's another sketchbook I started, I think recently, right? Oh no, I drew my friend Fue, also known as Lucifer Storm. It's a bad drawing, but yeah. Yeah, this is just some other sketches that I've done recently. All kinds of stuff. I was trying to do this perspective exercise that Aaron Guzman put in the Discord. This crazy character. I don't remember. I was just really random drawing of some character. Yeah, nothing amazing, but it's not a Nathan Rosario sketchbook. It's not that good. Oh man, so I gotta get my tools. So people have been talking about that whole thing with the comics, like that news that came out, I guess, about that most I guess it was like most comics don't and like that are in comic shops, I guess, like 50% of them don't sell more than 12 issues. I think that's like total or something. Or maybe that's in those particular shops. No, that because that would be not so bad maybe in those shops. I don't know. So it must be like total print, out of the print run, they don't sell more than 12. And I don't know. People are like really talking about it, debating it, and I'm just like, I could have told you that. Like, I mean, I don't know the numbers that like specifically necessarily, but I think it's pretty obvious that a lot of comics are not doing very well. Indie comics is where it's at, in my opinion, and a lot of people who probably watch this. And I don't know. It seems like there's been a little bit of debate, I guess, but I don't really follow it, but I keep hearing stuff about it, but I don't usually get too much into the debate stuff. Sampson. Nathan. I had a cat named Fabio. Really? Wow, was it blonde? Oh my gosh. And Sampson, yeah. I could do Sampson. Maybe I'll do Sampson since you mentioned it. But is there who's a famous person who played Sampson? Like I don't know. I know there's at least at least a movie or two of Sampson, I'm sure. Like I'm sure I've seen some. Um where's my phone's right here so I can get imagery up. Something to have reference of. I was looking at all kinds of printers yesterday. I'm really looking forward to printing up a sketchbook and corncob Rob and all that stuff. It's gonna be fun. Let's see. Um, Samson. I mean, I could make up my own Samson. You know. I guess the typical drawing of Samson would be, him, pushing um, uh, the two pillars. You know, there's a bunch of stories. There's the whole thing where he like, what did he do? He like tied foxtails together and stuff or something, or is that a different myth? It's been a little while since I've read the Samson stuff. Actually, to be honest, it's Samson makes a lot of sense for me to draw because literally my imprint Donkey Jaw Projects is literally from the Samson story. Like that's where I take my inspiration for my comic um, for my comic imprint and what I want to do with comics. It's like because Samson isn't like the most like godly character in the Bible. He's kind of did everything wrong almost, but he still is who God used in a great and amazing way. He's kind of like the superhero of one of the superheroes, almost like one of the first superheroes, really. um if you think about it, like it's definitely something where you can get, and I feel like it's possible because I think the creators of Superman, they were Jewish and stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were partially inspired by Samson. I don't remember if that was part of their story or not. um but yeah, I guess I'll kind of create my own Samson. There's been Samson comics and stuff, different takes on the kind of story of Samson. Um, yeah, there's so many different things, but yeah, the jawbone, like Donkey Jaw Projects, like he like destroyed an army with just a jawbone or whatever. Like, yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. For that brief period when comics was cool, like it was on Spaced, the Simon Pegg character was a comic artist, and shows like Roseanne and movies like Chasing Amy, the cool comics were always indie. Oh, I see what you mean. Like, yeah, when it was like cool in movies and stuff and in culture, and they were always indie. That's interesting. I never really kind of took got that takeaway from it, but that's cool. Mainstream comics have never been cool. That's a strong statement, Sarah Peter. Even now that the movies are big, and that's waning, the comics haven't been important. That is true. That is certainly true. Samson, gotta draw that hair in there. Yeah, unless it's after Delilah. But yeah, you're right. I gotta get you know, those locks of hair from the Bible series. Yeah, I mean it's from the Bible. Yeah, Samson has some iconic poses, slaying with the donkey jaw. I think I'm gonna have to do the donkey jaw because this is Donkey Jaw Projects. Come on. That's my website. If you guys don't know, donkeyjawprojects.com is my website. And it's if you go there, you'll see some cool stuff, but it's got to be that's one of my big goals to get to like as soon as possible is updating that site. Slaying with the donkey jaw, pushing the pillars apart. Yep, totally. Draw him with a side shave. Let's see. Yeah, that would be. I could, but I don't know. Maybe no side shave. He didn't cut his hair from the time he was born. Yeah, he was a Nazarene, right? Or he had the Nazarite vow or whatever, however it goes. I don't know if maybe that's not true. I don't know if that was a thing in that time or not. But I think he was right. It was a Nazarite vow. I think I know, but his hair was cut. They're debating the hair. Yeah, his hair was cut off when he pushed down the pillars. He was blinded before then too. Yeah, that's one thing people don't remember. You don't think of so much. Like he was highly incapacitated. Like I don't know if that's the right term, but he was not like at his best when he pushed those pillars down. And but you know, blindfold covering his eyes since they were cut out would be um, DEC. I don't know. I think I have an idea of what I might do. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna do. Man, Nathan, I would love to see you do Sampson because he has like Nathan really loves. Sorry if I'm spilling too many beans, Nathan, but he really loves like Conan comics and stuff like that, and just seeing his drawings in his sketchbook, he had some Death Dealer stuff and a lot of just really cool stuff. I'm sure you could do a mean like Samson comic or just Samson drawings, you know. So let me bring down the zoom so you guys can see. Maybe I'll even put the arm down a little bit so you can really. Oh, that's pretty good actually. That's close enough, I guess. Let me make sure that the focus is good with another sketch card. That actually looks like it's okay, but let's just get it perfect-ish. It keeps going off a little bit. I think that's good. Let's see about the brightness. Maybe it's a little too bright. Yeah, that's good. Maybe some contrast in there too. That should help things a bit. Oh, I turned it down again. There we go. Contrast, people. I'm telling you, it's important. Let's see. Um, the Nazarite vow required no touching grapes slash wine and not cutting hair. Yeah. And Paul took the Nazarite vow for a little while, you know, um, to kind of, uh, I guess, preach to that group, you know. Um, so yeah, the Bible TV miniseries that aired a few years back, Nan So Anozi. Oh, okay, let's see. Let me put that name in. Oh, it's like a black Samson. Huh. I mean, that would be cool too. Or maybe I shouldn't say, is that wrong to say African American? I don't know what's the right way to say things. Um, I don't, I'm not, I don't know. I don't have issues with anybody of any race, so it doesn't matter to me really, but I don't know. Yeah, that is kind of a badass Samson. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. That's kind of almost like There, it looks like some Game of Thrones type of design on the character too, which is kind of cool. Which makes sense. Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Nathan. Yes, scenes from that. Is that where Samson they put the story from, or no? Is it just I know that's one of the what's his name the still life guy. Why can't I think of his name? It was like Jason and the Argonauts. Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, I think, is part of that, right? Why can't I think of his name? There's so many names to remember, but I love his stuff. Classic film, um, special effects of Sinbad. Do they tell the Samson story in that? Or is it just it's just Sinbad, but you could kind of use it as reference probably, is what I'm guessing. Do do do. Some of my favorite movies. Yes, Harryhausen. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Um, no matter how you draw him, I know it will come out great. Ooh, you have a lot of confidence in me. Thank you, though. Nazarite vow could be taken for a period of time, but Samson's was for life. Yes. Harryhausen is awesome. I agree. Ray Harryhausen. Yep. Devontae Edwards, what's up? Really cool art. Hey, thanks. This one isn't mine though. This is Gibran. Um, he's on Jeff Lafferty's show. All right, let's get into some Samson here. First, I'll do the kind of. So, the first one of these man cards that I did, I didn't measure it out in any way, and then even in these, I'm gonna just eyeball it, half and half. So this is a good way to just kind of, you don't have to be perfect, but just to get like things in line a little better. Because I have like words and I'm just putting it, hand lettering or whatever. So, and then I put like a little border. And also another cool thing to do, and I'll just show this here a little bit better so you guys can see it. So, you know, I don't know. I think there's a way to do it where it's easier. But basically, even if you do it just roughly, try to put your this is another like composition, layout, design, whatever you want to call it, technique. And it's the what do you call it? The there's like the Fibonacci sequence and the golden rule, and there's another name for just this like kind of grid that kind of plays off of that as well. But like you get let me make it a little bit darker. This is not measured out very well, but even if it's not measured out very well, this can help you. And it's like fully, so you can see. So with this, it's not always good to like put your design like right in the center. I mean, that you can use that is a bold move, but if you always do that, it actually tends to be boring. Um, uh, this thing is blowing it out really bad. The light, but it's good to kind of have your focal point like it's hard to say. I'll just kind of show you without it. It's too blown out. Maybe there's a way I could fix that. The white balance it's like auto white balance. Yeah. So maybe that'll help. It's not auto. I always end up like trying to teach people stuff, even though like a lot of you probably already know stuff I'm teaching, but I just get in that mode. You know, people always talk about Dee Dee having her teacher voice, so I guess that's my teacher voice coming out. But oh my gosh, this is like not coming through very good. Let me turn the brightness down, or no, that doesn't help either. Let me fix the put it back on auto white balance, then play with the brightness. Oh my gosh. It just doesn't take to pencil very well. Anyways, it's better to put your focal point like in one of these like places where the edges meet, where the corners meet, or near there, and you come up with kind of more interesting designs that way and stuff. So that's just something to think about and maybe try to remember whenever you're designing the layout for like a page or whatever, or for a panel or all that stuff. um, so those wherever like, so the square, like wherever those little corners are, like in these kind of areas, are kind of the best places to put the photo. Now again, you don't have to do that, but it's something to remember, and it can help your images look more dynamic and stuff. So man, I wish, I feel like I have so much hard time with trying to get things to look okay, but I'll check through. So, anyways, I've been putting like these crosshairs in here, just to line up the words a little bit. In the second one, I did that. So, let's see. This is, so there's THIS. So I have to put right where the I is, like in between the I and the S. I have to put like the middle. So, you know, it's good to kind of map out your letters. I've had to do a bunch of times where I've had to like, I kind of did like hand lettering, and I'm not like an amazing hand letterist, but I kind of just do my own version of it or whatever. And it's good to kind of measure it out, even if it's more of an eyeball thing, like eyeballing it or whatever. And then your man card, Peter Seckler, and the people in the adventures in comic making Discord have been doing sketch cards. Peter's been knocking them out. If you go to his Instagram, he's got a ton of sketch cards. They're really cool. So this is your, so YOUR, so your man card. So, mm-mm-mm. All right. So we got the measurements. I'll redo it when I do the ink, but and then I kind of put this little border here. It's fun to do the border first sometimes. So maybe I'll do that. That way I can, actually, I think I will, because that way I can get the contrast and the visuals looking right, and it won't be, uh, you guys will be able to see something at least. It's hard when there's nothing on the page to get the camera to look good. So let's see. So let me get my, which one? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or have any topics you'd like to hear my thoughts on or anything, let me know as I'm drawing this, and we'll talk about some things. Otherwise, I'll just be like random thoughts from Marsh and possibly not much, um, not much talking at all, because he gets sucked into these things. Um, so yeah. Making little arrows. All right, we're gonna do, I got an idea for kind of how I want to do this. Uh, mm, do 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 do. Every one one has like a different design. I feel like Sampson is kind of tribal, so I'm like, I guess doing very loose pretend tribal mark type vibe things here. So sound effects. I like doing these very loose too and not being precious about it, you know. When you're doing straight lines by hand and you're not like using a a ruler, it's kind of good to do them fast. Sometimes it depends on how exactly you want it. But anyways, so that's going to be like the border. And then so you guys can see that at least. So that's good. You'll really be able to see more when I'm inking, but this is inking just this part, but this is your man card. Frank Salazar was doing these too. He's got some. He put them up on his Instagram. All right, so we got the border done. So let's draw Sampson here. Let's attempt to draw Sampson. Of course, I might end up like putting him in like defying what I just said, and putting him in like. Let's go from this angle. I'm not going to defy. I'm going to try to use the principle I just talked about. I'm just going to make them up. I'm not going to try to draw any specific kind of Sampson. Maybe it'll even be a little cartoon. We'll see. Hopefully I can do like see, I don't know if I love that. Man, Nathan, you would knock this out of the park. Oh my gosh. Got to get that like hair too. This one's going to be different than the other two I've done because the other two I did from a photo. This is going to be me trying to just kind of do it from my head. Should be interesting. Let's see if we can get some hair flow, some dreads. I guess, I mean, did he have dreads? I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to make them like they're kind of dreads flowing in the wind or flowing with the motion of whatever he's doing. This is not a good pose. What I should do is get like I should get a pose from a comic or something. All right, let's see. Sinbad movies had awesome monsters. Yeah, I gotta watch those. I've seen some. I've seen pieces of some. I gotta watch all the Harryhausen movies like in full though. I'm sure I've seen some, at least one or two in full, but let's see what else. Samson was a a Danite. They came from Ethiopia, so yeah, it's very possible that they were African. Well, not African American, but after they were African, they definitely were African apparently. So uh, they settled there, So yeah, they were Jews. I know that, but there's that. People say that the Jews. Some people say the Jews were black and stuff. Rule of thirds. That's the word for it. Yes. Although maybe you were thinking of the golden mean. I mean, they're kind of the similar thing, the golden mean. I think the rule of thirds comes loosely from the golden mean, I don't know. Yeah, the rule of thirds. Yep. I could be wrong though. Teacher voice, yes. Dreads would be cool, yeah. Let's see. I think dreads or braids would be accurate. He had 7, I believe. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, let's see. I want to get the donkey jaw thing in there, but I want to get like some fun impact. Like, try to make him like really like a superhero, like not a superhero, but like a superhero type of pose. And I'm going to be forced to show you guys my bad anatomy. Man, I just want to get a Kirby comic out and like copy. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can start with gesture like we're supposed to. Think of the Hulk. Channel your inner Hulk. That's what I gotta do. I use like that old school um trimpy, barrel chested Hulk kind of thing. I don't know. Let's see. This kind of thing is challenging. There's a reason why I tend to draw cartoony stuff. Sometimes I can pull off a good, like, superhero thing, but it's tough. Let's see. How can I make it so this donkey jaw thing? It's about this kind of shape. People use donkey jaw. I found out like people use them as like musical instruments too sometimes. Like the teeth rattle, so that it's like this rattling effect thing. So I really need to like study anatomy or something. That would probably be a good thing, right? I mean, I have like in my own little way sometimes done it, but kind of like looking at, muscly guys and, just practicing drawing from that. This is such a weird pose. Oh my gosh. It's going to be the erase stream. It's not the sketching chat, it's the erasing chat. I mean, there's a lot of like very basic poses that I could do too, I suppose. This one, I feel like yeah, this is like kind of like, when you feel like maybe, maybe I'm not a good artist. The the jawbone of a donkey. Let's see. I always do this thing like with my character when I draw like superhero things. they're always crouching. I get that from the 90s. And then there's always this like almost like guitar pose where one arm is going like kind of angled down and the other one is like angled up, like you're playing a guitar. And I'm so sick of doing that, but it's like the only way I know how to draw anything, it seems like when I do like superhero stuff, which is kind of annoying. I got to do more practice, more practice. For sure. But hey, it does get the job done. Potentially. Should I give them any kind of clothes? I'll have them like looking up a little bit. At least that makes it a little more dynamic. Of course, then I have to draw that looking up face thing, which is like hard too. Oh boy. I'm not super great at hair either. I'm not good at anything. Like somebody said, like, what do you think you need to work on as an artist? I was like, everything. I'm serious. Oh my gosh. It's starting to look like something a little bit. It's not horrible. Da-da-da. All right, let's see. Gotta go, great hanging. Thanks, Hanif. Glad you were here. If you hold up a donkey jaw, you should concentrate on his head and hair. Head slash hair. I mean, I could do kind of like, I could have done like a thing where it's like just like you're not even showing the full body, but I guess I've got my under drawing now, so it's going to be this, I think. Be back later. Oh, be, I don't know what that means. Always struggle with getting the pose on the relatively small sketch card. You've been doing pretty good though, man, with your sketch cards. I struggle with poses a lot too. You would think drawing people was easy since we see them all the time. I know, right? It's you would think, right? Maybe I'll put some like 90s shoulder pads on him. uh, I mean, I think they get those from like old Roman, you know, type of like what the heck can I don't know. They probably get them from old stuff. It might not be Roman. It could be anything, but wonder if people will be mad that if he's colorless. I'm not gonna draw him black. He's not gonna be white. He's just gonna be whatever. How do I draw a jawbone? I kind of know because I've done it a few times, but still, I kind of don't know. I probably should look it up just so I get the shape a little, like slightly accurate. Donkey jawbone. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird shape. It's kind of like a triangle-ish type of situation, you know. Anyways, hmm, let's see. Maybe he can have some boots too. I mean, you almost won't really see any. You just see the top of the boot, but yeah, it's coming along. It's starting to look like something. Rah! I'll just make him snarling. He's not going to be happy. I think he was the original one to say, "You wouldn't like to see me angry." He's got to have that comic book grimace. Ah. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Yeah, he's gonna have one shoulder pad. Cause why not? It might be totally inaccurate, but who cares? I'll give him these little armbands too. Those are cool on barbarian type warriors, right? Maybe I'll give him like some. What are the wrist things too? Why not? He's gonna be Hercules from Marvel Comics, not the one in the movie. That one's, oh my gosh! Did you guys see Thor, Thunder, and whatever? It was okay. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it wasn't great. Marsh, this is gonna look epic. Thank you, Seven. You like my card design? Thanks, Dee. The other comic guy, you could have a bald Samson with a rabbit, aka hair. True. Oh, we already got that one. Cool. So, all right. I'm almost at the inking stage, to be honest. I'm not like a type of person who I don't draw very detailed pencils anymore. I used to when I didn't before when I didn't used to I didn't draw in pen so much when I was younger, but I kind of just do loose pencils usually, and then I draw with ink a lot of times, which may not be a good thing. I don't know. What did you say? You had like 7 locks, right? But did you say there was something on them? Yeah, I think Samson basically did the Nazarite vow like through his whole life. I think it was the same thing. I think the Nazarite vow might have existed at that point. I don't really know. I know that, Rastafarians always talk about the Nazarite vow and they kind of make a, a bigger deal of it than Christians do, usually. Did not see New Thor. Hard pass. I don't blame you. I wouldn't normally have probably seen it. But I mean, it was fun, but yeah, um, there was a lot of not so great in it too. But at the time, I was going to the movies like every week, even though there wasn't really a lot of good stuff. The only one of the only recent good movies that was actually good was Where the Crawdads Sing or something. That was actually really good. So yeah. So if I maybe I should use different ink because this one is water based, but actually I kind of don't mind that. So maybe I will stick with this one. I love this pen. It's Fudanasaki Tambo, and it's a brush pen, but it's the one with like the plastic tip that's like it's like technically a hard tip, so you can use it almost like a micron, but it also is flexible, so you can use it like a brush. Really fun. So, all right, let's see. I really need to do more hand studies too. Maybe I can kind of make it look like he's got things in his hair a little bit. Do 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 do. How was you guys' Labor Day weekend? Did you do anything? Hang out with family at all? It rained on our Labor Day. It's raining today. It's been raining, I think, in a lot of places. I know that in the UK it was raining, at least at one area of the UK um, today as well. I talk to my buddy Fue almost every day, so that's how I know. Do you guys ever use the Marco Polo app? It's a pretty cool app, and you just send like it's like text message but with video, and you just send videos back and forth to each other whenever you want. It's fun. This is gonna be like a very sketchy. I think this is gonna be a pretty sketchy illustration. Giving him 90s shoulder pads. Oh, I should give him like a necklace, kind of like the Indian type of necklace or something. Tribal, I'm going tribal with this, That makes sense, right? Jews were a tribe. We're many tribes actually. uh, 12 to be exact. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. You guys get to see my bad anatomy. I'm learning that like doing these like drawings and stuff, like working on the sketch covers and stuff, and I gotta just not be so precious and just kind of get it done, and it usually still comes out pretty good, you know. Uh, but I've always, when I've done like fan art type of things, I've always agonized over it for so long, and it would take me days to just do like one fan art thing. And it's like I got to come up with some kind of unique concept and a unique pose and this and that. And it's like just, just, just make it happen. I do that. I've done that too with like shipping stuff out. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to add this. I want to do this. And it's just like, just get it out. Like I still haven't gotten out the giveaway for she spins, or she, is that what she spins. So I got to get that out like this week. I got a card out, the first man card. I got that out. Anything that I like sell I get out quickly, but I don't know, I got kind of caught up in this like oh well, I want to give her some extra stuff, and I got to put the package together and this and that, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like, just send the thing, like you know. But I get precious with things sometimes where it doesn't make sense. So, oh well, happens. But I've been doing good with like anytime somebody buys something from like eBay or whatever, I've been doing actually really good with that. So I'm happy. I'm kind of proud of myself because in the past I've had issues with that kind of thing. So, and today I got a PO box. Check it out, y'all. If you want to send me anything, send me comics. I'll show them off or whatever. I mean, you don't have to send me anything, but let's see. It's one. I'll put it in the description. You know what? I didn't do the typical things that I'm supposed to do with these videos. I didn't even monetize this video yet. Let's throw some of that on there. Usually I do that before I get in. That's because I fell asleep today and I forgot I didn't like set things up. But here, I'll put my PO box in the description. I have a PO because it was too expensive at one place, but I didn't realize apparently in different towns it's more or less expensive. Um, so I now have a PO box, so I'm happy about that because I don't want to like give out my actual address when I sell something. I mean, doesn't, I guess that makes sense, right? Let's see. It's kind of weird though. They told me to put like they told me to put it in like this weird format. So let's see. Poquonock Ave. I used to actually live on Poquonock Ave. There's a lot of, probably all over the country, but I know in New England there's a lot of Indian names. For streets and towns, and I mean Massachusetts, Connecticut. Those are Indian names in and of itself. Um, But I grew up my high school years. I lived on Poquonock Ave in Windsor, Connecticut. So yeah, but I don't live anywhere exactly. I don't really live even near there anymore. But I work in Windsor, so it's like, um, that's weird. It says Poquonock, Connecticut. Is that really? That's what they want me to put. I don't know why. Must be like but it should be Windsor, Connecticut. Hopefully that works. We'll have to do a test sending at some point. I'll have to order something and see if it comes to this address correctly. But this is how they told me to do it. It's like an older post office, so like they even have like weird post office boxes with these weird like kind of combination things that are, it's just like, it's different. I've never seen anything like it. It's not like you just have a key. Like I've had a PO box before. It's not like that. You know what? I'm gonna do it a little bit. Let's see. PO box. PO box. Oh, what's the number? It's 147. And so it's different prices, I guess, in different towns. Like if it's more populated, it's more money, I guess. So the town I live in is more populated, and it was like $60 for 6 months. At this place, it was only $35 for 6 months. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'm saving it now. So yeah, if anybody feels like sending me something, to review or look at, it's cool, or whatever you want to send. But I didn't get it for that purpose necessarily. I mean, but I just got it because I want to have like a place where people like for when I order stuff from people, and I don't want to just give out my actual address. So, anyways, it's kind of cool with a pen like this because you can get thin or thick, and you don't have to change your pen so much. I just never change my pen anyways. Like even if I do sometimes, but like I find myself just trying to draw it all with one pen. So since I'm gonna do that, I might as well have a pen where I can I really don't have to change it. So anyways, yeah, let's get back so I can see the Chattanooga. Let's see. The new Thor just came very short from the Gore the God Butcher story arc. Too much comedy. Yeah, the whole scene like with what was it, Hercules, or not Hercules, the main big god, whatever that god is, was so stupid. Zeus, that was like the worst. Oh, I can only see the inked frame, no pencils. My Wi-Fi is weak. Yeah, it's hard to see the pencils, man. Like that's why I'm glad that I don't take a long time to do pencils because it's you're not gonna see much. It's hard to get good camera on pencils, just in general. Like maybe if I had like a really nice camera, I could, but yeah. Put it in your description box. Yep, I put it in there along with your PayPal tip jar link. Ooh, that's a good idea. Um, I'll do that, but I don't know how to do that like quickly right now. So I'll do that after the stream. That's a great idea. But if anybody ever wants to send me money, I mean, I'm not sitting here, I'm not trying to like ask everybody for money, but, um, you know, my PayPal email is marshmakesart@gmail.com. So, anyways, so yeah, I'm really excited about this idea of making like a sketchbook. It's going to take some time, but it's going to be something like I just really want to I want to have it for myself even like it's kind of selfish. Like I'm glad that other people are interested for sure, but yeah, like I want to have it and then I can make subsequent um sketchbooks, of newer stuff. And I'll probably still like I'm not going to get everything in there, so I'll still probably have some leftover old stuff to kind of throw into newer sketchbooks from time to time, so there's that too. Do, 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 do. Plus, if I draw armbands, then it hides some of the anatomy that I don't have to draw. uh, how am I going to ever have a comic career? Oh, goodness. At least I don't lie about it. I'm the most amazing comic creator you've ever seen. And then you like see my comics and you're like, what? Now, the big question is, was Samson? This is really important. It doesn't say this in the Bible, and maybe the Bible's not true because of this. But was Samson a hairy guy or not a hairy guy? That's what's important. That's what I want to know. Cause I don't know why I'm such a hairy guy. I'm hairy morning, noon, and night. Anybody know where that's from? It's a pretty easy one to guess. Oh, goodness. Do, 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 do. Oh, this isn't coming out horrible, but we'll see when it's finished. I might be able to make it horrible yet. Mm-mm-mm. My hands are so not good. I'm not good at hands. Uh, but at least most people have a hard time with hands. At least at some point in their art journey. At least I'm not alone in that struggle. I really just gotta like get some John Buscema like comics and just draw everything in them. Then I'll have a much better like grasp on some things. Gotta stop drawing from Kirby and Liefeld and McFarlane and all the greats. I mean, Kirby is a great, and I like those other guys too a lot. But probably not. You don't really want to learn anatomy from Rob Liefeld or Todd McFarlane. Uh, but and or even Kirby. Kirby is he's not actually that great at anatomy. He's awesome at making comics and making that anatomy that's not amazing look amazing. Do 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 do. So that's a sort of a hand with a thingy. This foreshortening is not great either. It's not very good. But oh well, doing my best. I have no idea where the perspective is. I don't know how to draw this arm band. Is it like this? Does that look right? That looks a little more right. I'll just go with that. I would probably do some major adjustments if I was doing this digitally. Mm, 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 mm. Do, 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 do. Mm. All right, let's see. Hey, what's up, Chris? Thanks for coming by. I'm still waiting for your package, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit worried if it got lost in the mail because I feel like you sent it long enough where it should be here by now, but maybe tomorrow we'll see. Esau was hairy. That's true. We know that. Don't know about Samson. He's always drawn without hair, though, right? It seems like, or like, it seems like every depiction, he's like a bronze god, no hair. I'm inspired, Marsh. I'll send you my version later today. Just started. It's going to be a very sad attempt. I don't know, man. Seven has sent myself, and maybe I don't know if you sent some to Dee Dee and Frank because you were talking about that before. But you sent me some art on email, and you know, Seven knows how to draw. You got some good stuff. I really liked it. You sent me a bunch of stuff too, really cool stuff. So thanks for sending that, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was really cool. Kind of having a little bit of tangent issues too here, but oh well, it's just a sketch card. It's just a little sketch card. See, if you guys don't give me topics, I'll end up singing, and you guys are going to regret it. And I'll make up stupid words to songs. I mean, I'm not a father, but man, you could see the potential. I got the dad jokes all day, and I got the making up words to songs all day too going on. Maybe one day. There's still time. There's still chance. I may still be a father one day. We'll see. I've always wanted to be a father, but things didn't work out so well in my life. So we'll see. There's still time. I'm not going to be anywhere near that anytime soon, though, because I'm taking a break from that world of dating type of stuff. Just in case you guys wanted to know my personal information. I don't know. I'm pretty open about stuff generally, but yeah, I'm just doing my thing, making my arts for now for a little bit, but we'll see what happens. You gotta figure out your own thing before you start getting deep into, you know, trying to build with someone else, And I tried doing that before, but things didn't work out so well, unfortunately. But you live and you learn. Do-do-do-do. Some people who've been around for a while know a little bit more of the story and stuff. And, I'm not really hiding things, but I don't like always say everything because why, Who does? You got to keep some stuff close to the chest. But I'm pretty open about a lot of things. I'm like afraid to draw the face again. Last time it came out okay. So this time I'm not trying to get a likeness too, so it's not so bad. Like the other one was trying to get Schwarzenegger's likeness, and it came out okay. It came out surprisingly okay. I was actually ended up being pretty happy with it. Mm-mm-mm. Just trying to get some of those. This is another thing that I learned. Peter, I already knew about it, but I didn't really get it. I didn't understand it. And Peter Samedi, when I met him and showed him my art, he told me, try to get more blacks in there. You want to when you're drawing, comics especially, you want to get, um, you got to put more blacks in there. Like the traditional inkers do that. And you see a lot of people who don't do that, nowadays, and I think the comics are suffering a little bit for it. But I didn't get why though. It took me forever to fit because I've heard that so many times, and like, but nobody ever says like why. Why do you have to do that? And the reason why I finally figured it out, and almost not by people telling me. Actually, somebody did tell me. I think I don't remember who. But the reason why you want to get, some good blacks in there is for the thing I was talking about earlier in the episode, contrast. It creates some nice contrast and it makes it so that there's more depth. And I don't know. I don't know 100% how to explain it, but it definitely makes for more depth. And it's just the contrast of like when everything is kind of just contour line drawing. um it just it's just contrast is good. I don't know how to say it really. So like even these little tiny little pieces of like blacks, they just help bring out something in the drawing that makes it look better. And especially with comics, like comics just really work well in that with that kind of thing. Anything that's ink, anything that's black and white, a lot of times, give it, make sure you get some deep blacks in there, and it'll your illustration will be better for it. and some people are really good at it. Like Jack Kirby was great at it. A lot of the great comic artists, if you go back and look, will have a lot of blacks in their stuff. But I think Will Eisner was pretty good at it, from what I can remember. Um, there's a lot of the classic artists, really great at that. So, not every style, like cartoony styles, don't like. It's a little bit harder to do. Like if you look at like old Scrooge comics or something, like those are great, but they have to sneak in the blacks kind of in different ways, and it depends on if it's like a scary story or something, like then maybe you're more likely to get a lot more blacks in, but um, if it's not, a lot of times the cartoony stuff, it's tough to really make it sneak them in. So you got to kind of get them into the like little corners and stuff a little bit. So I'm still still kind of avoiding the face. do, 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 do. I didn't even scan in that Schwarzenegger card, but I did take a picture of it at least. So that's kind of good enough for me, anyways. Can work with the scan. The Sampson man card. Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I don't want to mess up the neck muscles. I'm not really good at the neck muscles yet. When in doubt, black it out. So if I just kind of imply a little bit, yeah, that's good enough. Now to the face, the hard part. Mm, like comic book artists, they're really good at like doing these like little tiny um, eyes and stuff. But I guess they're drawing on bigger surfaces usually too. But like I even saw it in Nathan's sketchbook. I'm like, oh man, like I always draw like the head too big, and like the nose and stuff is too big. As I'm drawing the nose now, too big. I'm almost making him look like an Indian character, I guess, which is weird, I guess, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I end up drawing the mouth too big, all this stuff. Like, yeah, it's not the best face in the world, but I guess it'll do. Try not to do too many shady lines, but you got to do some. Yeah, I'm probably doing too much there. Oh well. Um, Yeah, I don't want to mess it up. Sometimes you gotta take like a step back and make sure you don't go too crazy. Do 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 do. Yeah, this is getting closer to done. I mean, I'm gonna do my like gray. Oh, it's not very focused, is it? Let me fix the focus here. Uh, there we go. Sorry about that. It's so hard to keep this like stuff looking good. All right, we're gonna get into stuff, and I'll do some finishing touches and all that stuff. Um, so where's my gray markers? I just had them. Here we go. See, I got like artist law. It doesn't matter which ones you use. Like obviously the Copics are good, but I have a bunch of different alcohol ones. I got Blick Studio and Artist Law from Michaels, Blick from obviously Blick. We have a Blick store nearby. Well, relative. It's like from here, it's something like 45 minutes or something. I don't know. Maybe half an hour. I don't know. But and then we also have a Jerry's Artorama, which is a really cool store. And then obviously there's a few Michaels around. There's Hobby Lobby, which is newer to our area, relatively newer. I think Springfield, Massachusetts, has had Hobby Lobby for longer than us, but or actually that's Holyoke, but whatever. Anyways, that's kind of relatively near. Anyways, um, but yeah, I mean, alcohol markers are great, and I have so many. I have like at least three, four different brands. I have these ones too. These are ones that are really old. Oh, these are the older Blick versions. So yeah, and I used to go to like Blick was like the place I usually would go, and I would like buy like two. I would get some art supplies, but I'd get like two or three um Copics at a time because they're like so expensive, right? Like um so throughout the years I did that, and then once in a while I was able to afford like a artist loft set, or maybe sometimes I don't know if I ever bought a Copic set. I feel like I must have at some point, like if I had a little extra money. But yeah, but they're nice. They are nice markers. They're definitely better than other kinds of markers that aren't like artist brand alcohol markers. They make some really nice lines. This dude, if you guys know Frankie B. Washington from, he does some stuff he's done a bunch of stuff, but he's done, some stuff with alternate comics, and he's on their shows from time to time. He's a really cool guy. He was on my show too, maybe a year ago or something. I don't know. Um, and he's just really cool dude. And I met him at the latest con where like Peter Samedi was at and stuff, and had a really long, nice conversation about comics. It was great, and he showed me he's doing he did a cover for it came out on a Wednesday. And so Frankie, he does like digital coloring, but sometimes he does Copics, like he does like a full color treatment, like just as much as full as you would do with like a digital coloring job, like really with just Copics. And like Peter commissioned him to do this. It came out on a Wednesday cover, and he said, "But I want you to do the coloring with Copics because your Copic skills are off the charts," and they are. And that cover is so cool, especially in person. Everything looks not as good. Like original art, especially, looks so much better in person than like printed. usually. So yeah, it's he let me see it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So yeah, Copics are pretty amazing what you can get with them. Let's see. Oh, we got some stuff. And now people are asking me to sing, it looks like. Oh yeah, so that's probably why there's a holiday. So I mean, yeah, it was a holiday here too, but I kind of thought it might be here by now. But oh well. I really appreciate you sending it, Chris. Um, he sent it really quick too, like right after I ordered it, and he had to. I had a hard time. For some reason, my information wouldn't work with his site, or my address wouldn't work with his site for some stupid reason. So we actually did it behind the scenes through PayPal, and he like sent extra stuff and everything. Like Chris is killing it, and I love like I'm so excited to share this book. Like he has done a book full of one page comics, and he's done a ton of, this is just a fraction of the one page comics he's done, and he's got a bunch of other really interesting books, comics too. And he sent me a bunch of stuff, and I can't wait to get it. Like I'm so looking forward to it. um yes, sing Marsh, oh my gosh. Sing some Billy Joel, We Didn't Pop Your Tire. Thank you, Dee Dee. Appreciate that. Looking excellent. Great line weights on this too. I'm trying, man. Thank you. Got to bounce, Marsh. Keep at it. Thanks, Chris. You rock. Thanks for hanging out. Looking good, dude. I love the cheerleading. I appreciate that. 7. Sing some Sheena Easton. I don't even know who that is. Change the words a little. My baby takes the morning train. He works from 9 to 5. Then he takes another home again to find me waiting for him. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't I don't know, man. Ooh, I got a little super sticker. Thank you, the other comic guy. I really appreciate that. Looks pretty sweet, Marsh. Thank you. I agree. Thank you, Dee Dee. He's on the attack. Yes. When you're ready, Marsh, let's collaborate on your next comic project. Oh, yeah? Hmm. Interesting. Interesting prospect. Wow, that's impressive, man. Looks real good. Well, yeah, thank you, Nathan. It's hard to, yeah. Your stuff is so good. Anyways, all right. I need more lines on his face. Let's see. I don't want to mess this up though, but I feel like he needs at least one of those, and maybe a little something here. Maybe it's like a little bit of scuffle stuff. I don't know. Those lines maybe weren't so good, but I could use whiteout if I don't like them. It's one of those things where you keep doing it and it makes it worse type of thing. All right, let's get to, actually I should do, if there's going to be any whiteout, I should do it now. Not whiteout, but gel pen. So the only thing too is like you use the gel pen, and just want to be careful not to do too much, because it doesn't, like the like alcohol markers don't really do great over it. You can tell like it's over, gel pen and stuff. So actually, this really should be in shadow. Um, Sometimes it's good to kind of do a little bit of outlining when there's black on black type of situation. helps separate things. It's not reality, but it's good to do. Let's see. I feel like there was a specific spot that I wanted to get this. Oh, yeah, right here, right where the finger is. I have a little overlap there. I think that was the only main place. Everywhere else is like kind of on the good enough side of things. Could do a little bit here. Let's get a little bit more shadow and contrast in there. Oh, maybe that wasn't wise, but oh well, it's done. Yeah, put in little details. Sometimes they help things look pretty cool. Do just little finishing touches. I saw, I was watching Liefeld draw, and it was just interesting to see how he just added all these like little ticks and stuff like that you normally see in his art. But it's just funny, like watching him actually do it. It's like it was interesting. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I'm about there. I just trying to see if there's any other little spots that make sense. I don't think I'm going to do the whole like outline the character thing here. I don't think it's the kind of appropriate thing in this situation. Somebody was talking about mountains. Maybe I'll put mountains in the background. Mm. All right, here we go. Oh, I wanted to one more little whiteout spot right here. There we go. That's a little better. All right. Let's see. Do 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 do. It always makes it kind of look really cool when you start putting the grays in. You can get lost in color, but if you just go with gray, you can get some cool effects. Color can get very complicated very quickly. Do 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 do. I was singing from the Hair movie earlier. That's if anybody was wondering. Mm-mm-mm. Do 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 do. Try to get those muscles a little definition. Yeah, this guy could be white or black. It's hard to tell, and I am cool with that. Ambiguous race or skin color or whatever. It's amazing what a little gray can do. You guys can't see it so well, but I'll put it closer to so you can see it later after. Do 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 do. You don't want to go like too crazy because then it just kind of washes out, and I don't know if I really know how to do it in a good way where it's like not really washing out, but you want to actually get like good what do you call it? I want to say tone, but I feel like there's a different way to say it that's more that people usually say. Um, value. You want good value, like contrast and value, actually. Um, and I'll be honest, I'm not super great at that yet, but I give it my best shot. And then one thing, if I don't know, some of you guys probably are like expert, like Copic marker, alcohol marker users, but I'll share some tips even though I'm not super expert at it. The more you go back over it, the more darker you can get it. So you can get a lot of mileage just even with one color, just by going over it, and kind of uh, deepening some areas, you know. So, yep, that's helpful. At least helps me. I used to look up a lot of tutorials on this stuff, but it's been a while. Oh, I gotta hold it. Do 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 do. All right. So I want to put in some like maybe light mountain stuff in the background. I don't know if there was mountains there. There probably wasn't, but oh well. Just a little something in the background. Nothing too crazy. Which actually isn't the greatest idea because it makes him not pop out as much, maybe. I don't know. Because he's already like got a lot of grays going on, but the ink lines pop him out, so that's good. And it's got no inks in the background, so yeah, we're about there, I think. I could go in with another gray marker, but I feel like it's gonna ruin it. So let's see if we can get a good, nice focused view of it. Hopefully you guys can see. See if I can get the focus in there a little better, make it look a little nicer. Yeah, that's a pretty decent view of it. So there it is. This is your man card, Sampson edition. I think it came out all right. I like it. I'm happy with it. Do. All right, let's see. Catch up with the thingies. I still haven't eaten dinner. I'm not even hungry. It's crazy. That's what this carnivore diet, man. That I'm on like this non for 30 days, no carbs diet, and it's doing pretty good for me, I guess. Epic, beautiful, me like. Thanks, Seven. Hand claps. Thank you. Heading out, Marsh. Enjoyed the stream. Later, guys. Thanks for hanging out, Dee Dee. I really appreciate it. You rock. Everybody's saying bye to Dee Dee. How much do you sell the man cards for? Well, I sold the last, I guess it kind of will differentiate a little bit. Depending if I happen to do like something that's like really crazy, which I don't think I will. I think I'll keep it at about this level anyways, but I think $10, you know. Paul Pate, hello, that's manly. Yes. Sampson is about as manly as you get, right? Copics are expensive. What's your favorite cheap marker? I mean, honestly, the artist lofts and the Blicks are just as good as Copics in my opinion. I don't know. I don't think you can refill the artist lofts. I don't know, or maybe not even the Blicks. I don't really know if you can refill those. That's the advantage with Copics. Um, but yeah, I'm not picky. Like artist loft is good for a cheaper one. Other than that, I don't like things that aren't alcohol based. So looks great, man. Thank you. You could ink the mountain with shadow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of leave it like that. I like how it is, but very epic, Marsh. Thank you. So almost 4 hours in here, but yeah, I think that's about it. If anybody wants to learn more, there's links in the description. I'm gonna put that whatever she said, the PayPal donation, whatever thing. I got to figure out how to do that. I'll throw that in there too, since it's a request of people's to do that. And yeah, I'll be back Thursday at 6 o'clock, and we'll be doing some more probably man cards. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a whole show of just me doing a few man cards. I don't know. If you guys have any requests of topics or things you want me to show, I got tons more books that I can go through. I got mini comics. I got more art I could go through. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff that I can show off. So maybe by then, Chris's comics will come so I can show those off. I'm looking forward to checking those out. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. You guys rock, and we'll talk to you on the next one on Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern.